Hey there, and welcome to the Nerd of Godcast, episode 42. This is your episode overture, which is kind of like a coming attractions for all the stuff you're about to hear. Now, if you're a serious geek, the number 42 should jump out at you right away. It's been referenced in a wide variety of media, from the number of Fox Mulder's apartment on The X-Files to the number of the Quinjet that flies Captain America to the helicarrier in the Avengers. It's even one of Hurley's numbers on Lost. But it traces its origins all the way back to Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where it's known as the answer to the ultimate question. So, in honor of this being episode 42, we decided to take this time to answer your ultimate questions. Plus, we'll take a look at this week's best thing ever and let you know how you can be a featured part of the show in the best thing bracket battle. We had a great time answering your questions. We had a lot of fun, we talked over each other a lot, and we learned a little bit about ourselves. Now, as always, this conversation is far from complete, so let us know how you'd answer any of these questions by connecting with us at Nerd of Godcast across all the usual social media outlets. This is 42, and it's time to get your Godcast on. Hey there, guys and gals, geeks and gamers. You're tuned in to the Nerd of Godcast, that place on the Venn diagram of life where Christ culture and nerd culture find sweet, sweet two-player co-op.
Hello, and welcome to the Nerd of Godcast, that place where all the cool, nerdy kids come together and talk about Jesus, like it's the bacon and eggs to your soul. Come on down and get your plate full, y'all. My name is Tony T, and for the next little bit, we're going to be talking Christ culture, we're going to be talking nerd culture, all the fun things that make us freak out and build our faith. With me, as always, is Steve-O Supremo.
Hello, everybody.
Across the table, we got the big man, Quentin Geregereneff.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. The lovely twins with us, as always, here, radiant and beautiful as ever.
Hello. Hello.
Jackie and Jessica. And over here, the newest member of the Nerd of Godcast crew, official Ness, EJ Nieves.
It's your boy.
And over in the producer booth, Nick the engineer.
Hello.
Hi, what's going on, guys? Everything good?
Man,
Yes.
everything's lovely.
Any new things happening? Anything that's making you happy? Anything that puts a little spring in your step, a song in your heart this week?
I'm glad that MegaCon is over with.
Yeah, dude.
Take a breath.
MegaCon was great. Tell us a little bit about that for the people that are not in this area or have never been a part of the Mega.
For me, you know, I've been doing conventions now for about 5 years.
What do you do at the conventions for our listeners?
Well, I am an artist, and artists have an opportunity to either do like an artist space or a booth space, depending on how much space they want. So I usually get a booth space because I need a little more room.
Yeah, I feel you, brother.
I bring.
Can I get a what from the big man gallery?
I bring all of my canvas artwork and stickers and prints and bring them on down to the convention and try my luck.
Now, some of us got to hang out with you this week down at the MegaCon, and that was a blast. But to watch you be able to work in that space was really a lot of fun. It was really exciting. I mean, you're professional, and it's just amazing. People clamor over this stuff.
That's very true. There's a lot of times when EJ had to go do like some running around the con, and it was basically left me at the table. I'm like, at one point I had to run and get him. I'm like, dude, we have like 7 people wanting to buy a painting right now, and EJ had the phone with the e-reader. I'm like, I need you and your phone because they want to meet you. Because they're all like, I want to meet the artist.
Yeah, it was really cool. And in fact, a lot of people were asking. When I was there on Sunday afternoon, you were painting a Joker. You were actually painting it there for a young man who wanted to buy it, and dude, he was just watching you with his eyes just popping out of his head, dude, his jaw hanging there. It was really cool to watch you do this. I mean, I've seen you paint before, but it was really fun in that environment. With people were real energetic about it. There was one guy, I wasn't sure if he was gonna buy it. The dude with the long gray goatee, and he ended up buying that Flash.
Yeah.
The big Flash. Mm-hmm. And he was checking it out and asking about it, and he'd kind of pass by time and time again. I was glad to see that he finally came back and picked it up, but it was really cool to see people coming home with awesome handmade art, like not just a print, but something that an artist poured his heart into, and that they could say, hey, I came home with a picture of the Flash, or I came home with a picture of the Ninja Turtles or Darth Vader, or different things like that. And it's cool because as an extension of not just your craft, but of ministry, tell us how your art kind of brings Christ into that environment.
Well, I think it's cool because God really has been kind of giving me an opportunity to bring Christ in. You know, for me, I've been doing conventions now for about 5 years, and a lot of times, you know, in my personal opinion, conventions are kind of filled with a lot of, I guess, darkness and confusion. A lot of there's just a lot of different types of community there, and some can be on the darker side. And I think what's really cool about the conventions and what God has allowed me to do with that is to bring the Word of God there. And then people come to the booth. They ask me all the time, "Hey, what does NEST stand for? Is that your name?" It's just kind of like this open door that kind of just pops wide open when they ask me what my name is.
NEHS.
NEHS, and it stands for No Eye Has Seen, based off 1 Corinthians 2:9. So just right off the jump, you know, people will ask, "Hey, you know, what's going on? You know, what does NEST stand for?" And just every single time. So I'm just really grateful that. Cool. In a situation like that, God has kind of given me an opportunity through my name, or through the name of the company, to represent Christ.
There's a couple really cool. I was actually kind of surprised at how often it came up. Like, there's a couple people I remember specifically. There's one, he did a painting of Poison Ivy, and he did Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and Wonder Woman, all very similar styles, and across their face said "No Eye Has Seen." I think one of their eyes were obscured. And there was this one girl who was cosplaying as Poison Ivy, and I showed her the painting, and she really wanted it, and she asked what No Eye Has Seen was, and EJ explained that to her, and her boyfriend were there, and they're like, "Oh, that's really awesome, you know, because we're Christians, and we really like seeing, like."
She was dressed like Poison Ivy. It's like,
yeah.
"You say, put some pants on, girl."
Yeah, I mean,
Well, hey, there's a way to do
Poison
that
Ivy?
modestly.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, what poison ivy did she do?
Well,
She
put some leaves on, girl.
She did Poison Ivy with the Slave Leia bikini.
Oh, right on.
Yes.
Okay,
It was
okay.
so it was a painting.
Daiwanawanga Ivy.
But
It was not modest.
but it wasn't just.
I ain't
her.
saying you're not saved, girl. I'm just saying you ain't got to advertise for everybody.
There were quite a few people that were there,
Close the
and we
greenhouse.
actually had a Nerd of Godcast cards, and they would see his stuff, and they would see the cards, and they'd be like, well, they would basically ask questions. So we were able to not only just kind of explain what EJ was doing, but EJ would also say, like, "This is what I do with my paintings," but then we also talk about this stuff on this podcast, and we had quite a few people ask about it.
And we're doing that right now.
Yeah.
As promised.
Yeah, so if you were at MegaCon, hit us up.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, I think we handed out every single flyer.
Almost
we
every
had.
single card.
It was
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, and we had quite a stack of Nerd of Godcast
You literally
cards,
took all of them that I had.
and we gave them all away.
I think I took 15 of them back at the end of the day on Sunday. Now, it was really cool. I didn't get to see you out there, Neff, but I did see you posted a picture.
Yes.
My man was out there dressed like Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
You had the whole, like, spangly cape on and the hat, the glasses, the beard. I mean, it was next level, dude. What was that on?
You were easily top 50% of the Macho Mans that I
Yes.
saw at MegaCon.
I only saw 3.
Yeah.
I only
Well,
saw
no,
3.
There were 3?
No, I saw 3.
I didn't see any other ones.
No, I saw 3. You were up there, bro. Like,
I went-
out
you were
of
the
the
top
3 that I
3.
saw, you
I
were
should've
like
gone on
2 at
stage.
once.
I did see one other Macho Man, and he had like the tight purple shirt.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw him.
Yeah,
I saw
That's
him.
the only other guy
But it
I
was a
saw.
little, but bro, you had the cape, man.
Yeah,
you
that's
were
true.
you were like entrance mode.
He even had a Sharpie beard.
I had a Sharpie beard.
Did that wash off eventually?
You put it on there with Sharpie?
Yes.
Quentin.
We need to put pictures
It's not
up.
the first
Enough.
time he's done that.
It's
Okay?
not.
We need to let our
Next,
fans
you have a
see
year till
Maybe
MegaCon
that's when my beard
2018.
won't grow. It's being blocked by Sharpie.
Next
Ink
year,
poisoning.
Yes.
invest in a fake beard.
I did, and it didn't.
We'll get
fell
you
off.
some spirit glue, and we'll just,
get it going.
use EJ's trimmings, so just collect them from EJ's got a robust beard, so as you trim throughout the year, just save them in a shoebox.
I got you, Neff.
Oh,
I
I
got you
would
covered,
So,
buddy.
all for us doing a group cosplay.
Group cosplay. Now,
I really
Jackie and
wanna
I,
do
for
it.
years, have
All four
talked
of
about
you.
the idea of doing Dark Knight Batman and Carrie Kelly Robin.
I've already got my Carrie Kelly costume.
Well, I just got to lose a couple pounds, and then I'll pour me in that bat suit. But we did have a great time at MegaCon. We got to meet a lot of new people. So if you are a new listener that we met out there, in the words of Quentin Neff, Guten Tag. So, and willkommen. But thank you guys so much, and thanks for supporting EJ. Thanks for coming out there and being part of the fun. And we did really have a great time. Our goal is, I'm putting it out here right now, that next year at MegaCon, we will be out there, Nerd of Godcast, with table, with giveaway, with merch.
Let's do it.
And we can even record live out there, interview some people. We're going to work on getting some press credentials. We're going to do it. I'm putting it out there right now. We're going to name it and claim it, y'all.
Claim it.
Amen.
Ciao.
Touch
Let's
your
do
neighbor,
it,
say
child.
Favor.
Favor. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
You're the closest one I can get
Won't
to
he do
Tony or Nicholas. Favor.
Whoa.
They just swerved.
Steven just dove out of his chair.
See, okay, I was thinking real quick. I know this is kind of a sidebar. I feel like we need a video, like a video recording of this, because like what
so many
Steven
things
just
to
did.
get
There's a lot of stuff that we do here.
Neff has his shirt. It's wrapped around him.
Like a blanket.
Like a blanket, like a little
kind of
kid with a
waist high.
blanket.
And for this entire time, without trying to stare down Neff, I thought that he just had a giant pair of plaid shorts on, pulled up to his
my.
chest.
Oh my
Steve Urkel style.
Steve Urkel style, because the way it's looking, like his sleeves are covered in his legs, it looks like he looks like Bob's Big Boy. I'm trying to figure out. But
Next cosplay.
I just realized that it was your shirt, and now it makes more sense. But
I pull back the shirt. I'm actually wearing my pants.
and he's got and he's wearing the lower half of a Poison Ivy costume. No,
A slave Leia.
Can't unsee that.
well, you talked about video, EJ. We've really been working hard to put out a lot of neat video content on our YouTube page, and we did one over the past couple weeks. We did one with Tori and Ben Jones. Tori and Ben Jones.
Tori and Ben.
Line
That's
Jones.
like the Pawns. He's Rory Pond.
He's Rory
He's
Pond.
He's Ben Line.
We did one with them. I just put one out last week with the high five a few days ago. We're just having a lot of fun doing these kind of things. Spoiler-free reviews. In the next week, I want to put one out with Jackie. I think I talked about it a little bit like last week when we're going to be looking at the first 20 minutes of an old school video game and just talking about it. Me from a historical point of view, and her from the the sort of wow, I've never seen this before point of view. So I'll be sort of like Old Man Indy, and she'll be my Mutt Williams, and we'll LaBouffe our way through these things.
A lot of green screen.
So lots of fun opportunities to check us out. In fact, if you haven't checked us out on the YouTubes yet, get over there, please. Do us a personal favor: like, share, subscribe. All of that goes a long way to help us out. In fact, you can connect with us all across social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Nerd of Godcast. Check out our blog online for lots of news and cool things you can use at nerdofgodcast.com, or you can email us nerdofgodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to chat with you, connect with you, and exchange whimsical animated gifs with you. And if this was a video podcast, you would see that Steven was just mouthing along with everything that I was saying. And I kind of wanted to backhand him, but I
was
don't.
also dancing to the music that you're going to be putting over that.
That's right.
Because as soon as you started saying that,
yeah. So we have a contest. Speaking of friends online, that we started running last week. God bless you. And I wanted to announce our winner right now. I know, this is so cool. It's one of my favorite things to be able to give away free stuff. In fact, all of our Patreon sponsors, kind of above and beyond the little things that they get for supporting us at a certain level. Last week, I was just feeling fancy, and I just decided I'm going to mail them all presents. So we mailed all of our Patreon sponsors a cool Nerd of Godcast button, a decal sticker, and a little card just saying thanks so much from us. So we do love our Patreon sponsors, but now we're going to give something else away. A couple weeks ago, I said help us out. Again, every like, every share, every review helps us out a lot. And I said, will you please go to our our page on iTunes. Thank you. And check out our podcast and give us a review. And we had several people do that. And I just want to announce right now the winner of the Who Just Left Us a Review. We're going to send you something for free. I need a better name for that. Name pending. Contest. And right now it's going to be the winner. And thank you so much for doing this, by the way. His name is Kevin Wilg. W-I-L-G. Left us a 5-star review. Thank you so much, Kevin. You just won something for free. Hey! And the crowd went wild. It's pretty simple. If you love Jesus and nerd stuff, this podcast has it both. Look no further. Everyone in this podcast does an amazing job at mixing the nerd kingdom and the kingdom of Jesus. An uplifting, fun podcast. 5 stars. Nice. So thank you so much, Kevin, for your awesome feedback, and for all the rest of you guys that jumped in there and did that as well. There's many more, and keep doing it. If you haven't done it yet, pause, swing right over there. Maybe you're listening right now on iTunes, so it's just a quick click away.
Create a new iTunes account.
We don't
leave us a review.
We don't cheat the system.
Steven.
Okay, let's talk about cheating. So there's a local newspaper in Orlando, EJ, and they run a Best of Orlando every year. And they ask, I mean, everything that you can imagine. Best place to get chicken wings, best place to get pizza,
best laundromat.
Best laundromat.
Crazy stuff.
My mom's house. I bring my mom my laundry. She sorts the darks from the lights. And
she doesn't charge me.
She doesn't charge me. I just have to bring my own Tide.
And Neff is dying.
Neff is allergic to Tide.
I think he tried to time out before.
I think he just coughed up a ham.
All those hot dogs we just had.
I had canned ham last night.
Did you really?
It was disgusting.
Ham.
Wait, is it like Spam?
Yes.
That's what.
It's
that's
basically what it
That's
is.
exactly-
Oh, I
yeah.
like Spam.
Do you?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
No,
No,
there's
seriously, I
Spam
grew
and
up
then there's
eating
canned
Spam and
ham.
egg and
Spam
cheese
is just a
sandwiches.
brand
I
name.
know a guy. He
of canned ham.
swears by it, dude. If
I like Spam.
like he takes a can of Spam and he'll slice it and he'll just put it in the pan and fry it,
Yeah.
skillet fried a little bit with some soy sauce on there.
Okay, no soy sauce, but everything
And I'm like,
else.
you're putting
yes.
soy sauce on Spam. That is like nitrates on nitrates, man. I'm not a doctor,
All the sodium.
but you gonna die.
I'm watching my cholesterol.
You watching it go through the roof, Essay?
At least put some pineapple on it. Get some fruits in there.
Yeah, of course.
I was
because what
watching it
happens
go down.
if you put pineapple on Spam will actually absorb it and turn it into hate. That's what happens.
So there's a newspaper, and they do this online poll where you can go on there and vote. One of the categories is best local artist. So we encourage people to please vote for your boy, Official Ness.
I voted for you, DJ.
Thank you, man. Put them votes in, man. It's tough out here.
But there's also one for best podcast,
Yes.
Local podcast.
best local podcast, and we. I wasn't kind of fishing for this, but a friend of ours put it out there, and he said, "Hey, vote for such and such." So I said, "Okay, well, let's do that." So Neff shared it because Neff is a team player, and he wants people to know about the good thing that we
I've
have
shared
here
it
at
like
the Nerd
5
Podcast.
times.
But in his initial share, Neff instructed people to what Neff? What
Yeah,
did you
go
tell
ahead
him to
and
do?
break that down.
Tell
Neff.
us exactly what it was that you told him to do.
If they lived out of state, don't forget to use an Orlando zip code when you're registering.
Cheetah!
32806.
That's cheating.
That would have got you detention, man.
I had to
Yeah.
do
Middle
that.
school.
What do they do then when it's a Christian podcast and they have all these people that are like voting online and they're using fake? Man, we rise or we fall, but we do it with integrity either way. So if you want to vote for us and you live in the Orlando area, go check out Orlando Weekly's thing. Trust me, man, they need some of the light of Christ for their publication and help us to be doing that. But if you're not in the Orlando area, don't cheat.
Pray for us.
By putting in 32806 or 32812 or
32822.
There's another
Don't cheat.
32827.
There's another-
Did we say 32812 already?
There's another podcast that I know that's really big in Orlando, but they just got on. They started going on the radio now, so they're not qualified to be in the same.
They technically be a radio show.
Yeah, they're not.
Yep. So they're because the pod literally says best podcast not on radio, not played on radio.
Yeah, and not to say that I wouldn't take that. If somebody wants to put us on the radio,
Hey.
that has
cool, too.
There
Do
was
you the Z?
I had 3 dreams in my entire life of what I wanted to do when I grew up. One was be a youth pastor, check. 2 was be a radio DJ. Kinda podcasts don't really count, but at least hey, you're caller number 9. What's the phrase that pays? Well, y'all, I'm like between the bookend of coughing. Do you guys have like the flu or something tonight?
I'm getting over
Yeah, I don't
being
want to
sick.
get sick over here. There's
My
a lot of
goodness,
coughing
dude.
tonight.
You guys are not in the middle of this.
I'm gonna get you some of them.
Well,
Like,
see,
EJ's not
I'm
in
glad
the
that
middle
I'm
of it.
far away.
I was
I'm gonna
like,
tell you
you
that
work
right
with
now.
Children.
I'm immune.
I work with the general public.
So do I.
and I'm just anointed. I don't know. I don't know what your problem is, but I'm in the spiritual bubble where it don't affect me. But I'm just really I'm not concerned about your cooties. I'm concerned about editing this podcast and just having a.
Your kid's in the public school system. That's why you're immune.
I'm good. No, I don't know. I kiss my wife and she works at a daycare, so I've probably got every strain of everything. I'm the petri dish.
No.
Ugh.
So anyway,
Wait,
so
your
no
third drink.
cheating, no cheating. Just do whatever. So again, congratulations to Kevin. Thank you so much for voting for us. God
Thank you,
bless your
Kevin.
ministry. Right now, it's time for us to talk about our best thing ever. And before we get into the best thing ever tonight, which is round 3,
Ever.
Space Ace.
All right, Internet Explorer.
Actually, my name is Kevin.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you making fun of the guy who rated us 5 stars?
No,
on
no,
iTunes?
Kevin.
Kevin Malone.
You're
from
a
The Office.
terrible person.
Yeah.
He left us 5 stars, Neff.
Shame on you, Quentin.
Go change your zip code and
Cinco
vote for somebody
estrellas.
else's podcast.
Oh.
You're dead to me, Quentin.
You always be allowed to be.
Okay, you're back. I unshun you. Unshun.
Reshun.
Shun and unbelievable. Shun.
This is best thing ever, and we're going round 2. I actually have to check right now because I did not even see who won. The polls just ended. Has anybody seen this yet?
I can look real quick.
I got it. I got it right now.
He's got it.
Round 1 of our best thing ever, Space Ace Edition. Vote for which one you think is best, and then share it with your friends and followers. These are all like space aces, captains, sci-fi kind of guys. And in round 1, 58% to 42%.
Wow.
So it was really close. But Lone Star from Spaceballs was narrowly edged out by Mal Reynolds from Firefly. So Mal moves on to round 2. And tonight, for our best thing ever, we are looking at a couple of space heroines in Ellen Ripley versus Samus Aran.
Oh.
So
I think this is going to be one of the tougher matches.
it's going to be, well, I mean, Ellen Ripley is, I mean, she's hardcore.
Yeah.
In the
That's
first,
the chick
heavy
from
duty.
Alien, right?
yeah, and
Okay.
because and if you've kind of followed through the trilogy, in the first movie, she wasn't looking to be an action hero.
No.
She was just trying to be a survivor.
He's just trying to live.
But by the second one, Ripley, she turned into a bad mamma jamma.
That sleep really did
Saying,
turn her
A good
into
nap.
what a difference in nap.
That
that 300-year nap or whatever it was.
that alien showed up and it was ready to go, and
Dude.
she goes, "Hi, I'm Sigourney Weaver."
Sigourney Weaver.
So,
I just watched Finding Dory for the first time the other night, so I'm really happy I got a chance to use that.
no, we were talking about Alien, not Ellen.
Oh, right.
So a great set of female protagonists there. Both of them very tough. Obviously, Samus Aran with an amazing skill set. Not so good at relationships, though. You would find out if you watched our latest YouTube video, which is the worst nerdy couples, starring me.
Starring me.
But what we want you to do is just check it out. By the time you hear this, it'll be live on our Twitter, and you can vote for who you think is the best, who would win in a fight, who is the coolest, who is the most admirable. Ellen Ripley from the Alien franchise or Samus Aran from the Metroid games. Now, this is what we're looking for next time. Moving ahead to next week's best thing ever, what I'm looking for is a couple best thing ever ambassadors. So email us and you could be selected, or you can message us. We're easy, social media, however you want to do it, but get in touch with us and you can be selected to be one of our best thing ever ambassadors. And here's what that means. It means we're going to give you a chance to either video or audio record your reason that the person you pick should be the best thing ever. And we'll take one person from each side, and we're actually going to feature your voice on the show, on the podcast during next week's Best Thing Ever, giving you an opportunity to tell all of our listeners why you think that the person you have chosen is the best choice for that week. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little fast forward to the contestants for next week, so you can call dibs on who you want. And I think this is going to be one that we're going to get a good reaction from you guys.
I think so.
Because next week on Best Thing Ever, we're looking at Han Solo versus Captain Kirk.
Oh gosh.
So
the other really tough one.
so I think that we might have some passionate listeners who think that their guy should be the guy.
Oh, snap. I just realized Star Wars versus Star Trek.
There's a lot riding on this one. There's so many layers.
Yes, it's going
We were,
down.
Eternal battle.
EJ has a friend named Larry, and I was explaining to him what the best thing ever was, and I gave him some of the contestants for this week. And when I said this one, Larry had some opinions, very strong opinions on why one should outdo the other.
I spent about an hour with Larry last week. First time I'd ever met him. I have no problem believing that Larry had some opinions.
Yes. He was very, very confident, and then I countered back
is.
with, "Well, what about this?" He's like, "That's a good point." So it was like an actual debate.
So maybe Larry might be our guy. Larry, the ball is in your court.
All right.
We need somebody out there to say, I got dibs on Captain Kirk, I got dibs on Han Solo, and you record your reason. Just kind of keep it under 2 minutes, but record your reason why you think that your guy is the guy. And we'll feature you on the show next week. We want the people to hear the voices, and the voices shall be heard. So don't forget to vote right now. Head on over to twitter.com and check out Nerd of Godcast. Vote for this week's Best Thing Ever. So let me ask you guys a question. Does anybody know what episode this is?
3.
41.
3.
No,
3
42.
of the new season.
42.
Actually,
So let me tell you a story.
Is it 3?
Once
Is
upon
it
a time-
2? I don't know what's going on.
There was a group of hyper-intelligent pan-dimensional beings who demanded to learn the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. So they built a giant supercomputer called Deep Thought, and it was specifically built just for this one purpose, to give them the answer to life, the universe, and everything. When they activated Deep Thought told these hyper-intelligent pan-dimensional beings that it was going to take 7.5 million years to compute and come up with the answer. And they had to just, check back with me then. So they went ahead, they did that. Their whole civilization was built around Deep Thought and the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And they all came back 7.5 million years later. It was a huge day for them. Giant day. They've been waiting for this, obviously, for the better part of the civilization. And when they came back to Deep Thought, they said, "Oh, Deep Thought, do you have the answer to life, the universe, and everything?" And Deep Thought said, "Yes, I do. I've thought about it quite a long time, and I do have the answer." Now, I want you to imagine the anticipation and the palpable tension in their moments. They were about to receive what they had been waiting for lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime. And they waited, and there was a still moment, and Deep Thought, with a clear and decisive answer, said the answer. Yes. To life, yes. The universe, yes. And everything, yes, is 42. And with that, they looked at each other and said, "What the crap kind of answer is that?"
42?
This is
That's rubbish.
because Deep Thought told them, Deep Thought explained to them, "Yeah, you asked for the answer, but you didn't ask for the question." This is from Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I thought, in honor of this being episode 42, we would make it all about the questions. So we have asked our listeners to submit some questions, and these are the questions that I am going to bring to you tonight. So in my box of tricks here, I have printed up all of the questions that were submitted by our listeners. Some of them anonymously, some of them non-anonymous. There you go.
Non-anonymous.
Non-anonymous.
So I've got a couple different options here. Let me take this bag out. This bag has the super spiritual questions. We'll save those ones for later. Oh no. We want to have the fun ones up front, and then we'll get to the Sunday school ones a little bit later on. So, are you guys ready? Now, this is the way this is going to work. There are two different kinds of questions in this box, and this might not work. I'm kind of making this up, but best I can tell, this is the way we're going to do it. Two questions in the box. I'm going to let you guys pull a question, and I will read it. If it is a black question, it goes to everybody. If it is a colorful question, it goes only to the person who pulled it. Oh. And then they have the option to make one other person answer it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, so you can kind of project it on somebody else, okay?
So when it's one for everybody, all of us get to answer, or all of us who want to get to answer?
Yeah, all who want to answer can answer. Okay.
All those who wish to answer.
All right, so we are going to shuffle this thing up right now.
I'm scared.
And let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch tiger by toe. If he hollers, let him go. My mama said to pick the I'm not hitting anybody with a baseball bat on this.
I'm sorry.
And you need to consider your sanctification, young lady. All right? You're going first now.
Yeah.
Glenn.
Wait, no.
Give
Ask
her
no
one for the black
exception.
bag.
good for the black bag for that.
Yeah, Jackie, no
All right,
exceptions.
so Jackie, that is your question. Let's see what you pulled here. Jackie, it is a black question, so this goes for everybody. What is something that everyone else loves but you hate? It's your opinion, so there's no wrong answers. And Jackie, you pulled it, so you go first. Something that everybody else seems to love, but you can't get behind it. You hate it.
Taco Bell's Canon and D.
That's very true.
Music student, of
I
course.
love
I
that.
thought we were going to
song.
say peanut butter.
Anybody else want to jump in on this one?
I kind of feel like everybody likes the beach, and I don't.
Yes, I'm hopping in on that. I hate the beach.
Yeah, dude, sand all up in your crevasse.
Yeah, but
I
so many
can
people love
respect
it, and I'm
that.
like, I don't.
I'm pool 10 times out of 10 over
Yes.
the beach.
I don't
Except
like the beach.
beach when it's cool or in the evening, then it's okay.
I'll take that.
Nighttime at the beach isn't bad.
Maybe when a storm
I just don't
in.
want to. I don't.
Yes.
If I can go to the beach and somehow, some way, not get sand everywhere, then that's fine.
That's called the pool.
If you go in the water, all the sand washes away.
No, if you go in the water, you get salt water on you. Now it's
Yes.
even worse.
Yes, and then how are you going to get back
And
to your
whales
car
poop there.
minus the sand? Unless there's a way to get from
Do
the
you see
water.
piles of whale poop just floating?
No, because
that's what makes me nervous.
What?
You know
Wait,
what makes
you've
me
seen that
nervous?
before?
No, she
It's
said
like the
have
kids
you.
pee in the pool. I
Oh,
can't
man,
see
that's-
that either.
Yeah, but there's chemicals in the pool that are
clean it.
designed to
Oh,
make
good.
it.
So I can swallow the chemicals as well.
Yes,
Dude,
you've
you
got
know what?
billions of animals.
There's poop-
pooping and peeing into
There's
them.
are
rat poop
frogs.
in your peanut butter, but
You
My
don't
pool
wanna,
has
you don't
frogs
wanna
and
swallow
duck poo in
ocean
it,
water
so-
either, though.
and dead possums showing up.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Nick,
That open-
what's something that everybody else loves that you hate?
Talking.
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody else?
The Hunger Games.
Okay.
Why do you hate it? Have you
It's
tried?
just so hyped up.
I got it.
Like, it was everywhere, and I'm like,
She's a preteen literature hipster.
That's
Like,
true.
once it becomes popular, I don't want anything to do with it.
There's a lot of times I had to
I
be
just didn't
very
see the-
careful.
I don't know. It was that and Divergent. It was all coming out at the same
No,
time.
Divergent's terrible. I'll
It
get
was
behind
like
you on that.
I just felt like it was all the same.
I had to be very careful.
And the
with-
Maze Runner, and the.
I love
I
Maze
didn't read
Runner.
that.
The movie. I know I didn't read the book, but
All right, let's. I'm gonna go on. I'm just gonna say Chipotle.
I mean, I
Wait.
guess. I like
They have
Chipotle.
Nantucket Nectars.
It's
So
so good.
so does the drugstore.
I have half a bowl
I
of
have not
Chipotle
seen it
waiting
there.
for me in the fridge for when I get
Chipotle
home. I'm
gives
really
me
excited about
Chipotle.
it.
Chipotle is laugh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was our first
Chipotle's
round.
my
We'll just go around the
life.
table
Oh
now.
my
EJ,
God.
your turn. Essay. Pull one out, and then I will
Hand it
read
to
you the
Tony,
question.
hand it to Tony.
Okay.
Here you go.
EJ,
Help you out there.
There it is.
this is another all play. This was submitted by Charles B.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
Great.
Charles B. asked this: who would win in a street fight? Chef Boyardee, Colonel Sanders, Uncle Ben, or the Gordon Fisherman?
Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben.
Why?
Because he's from Louisiana, man. You don't mess with people from Louisiana. They'll
He's
cut
a raging
you.
Cajun.
They'll cut you.
I don't know. I got Colonel.
Give
I got
me
my
the
money
options
on.
again?
I got my money
I
on
say the
Sanders.
fisherman.
Yeah, I got my money on
Chef Boyardee,
Sanders.
Uncle Ben, the Gordon Fisherman.
Especially after the
Salty
new.
sailor.
Have you guys
say
seen
the
the
Gordon
newer like KFC commercials? He's like smooth and
Yeah,
like.
like
Ooh, yeah.
Pimp Daddy Colonel.
Oh, my
I
God.
like.
Gold
I don't know. So
Colonel.
I'm gonna
Golden
go with
crispy.
him. I'm going
But
with
Colonel
Sanders
Sanders
because he's a
was
smooth
like-
criminal.
85 when he created KFC.
It don't matter. He's
He's an old
85,
man.
but he, but look,
He's
he's
from
tough.
Kentucky.
He's like one of those. I'm 85 years old. I make some chicken. You want to wrestle? He's back there like snapping the chicken.
I'm
now.
from the
He's like-
South.
It's like Sal Mandini. Sal Mandini. Want to wrestle?
I say the fisherman. Have you ever been on a
Very
lobster boat?
rare to get a Ready to Rumble reference.
It works though.
Yeah. I only know that because
Deadliest
Steven
catch.
showed it to
Now
me.
you gotta
Yeah.
think though. Like I've not watched this show a whole lot, but like most dangerous catch is that
Deadliest
that's deadliest
catch.
catch.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Dude,
saying.
like those fishermen.
They
They're
hard
cool.
core.
tough.
They're about that
they're-
life.
I
You
have
play
a
with
friend
them,
from high
man.
school who works on. He works on fishing boats, and it's a tough life.
Yeah,
Especially
dude,
if
I
on
don't
the
know.
Bering
They make
Sea.
bank.
Gordon
Yeah.
Fisherman might be the one.
Gordon Fisherman might be a ghost.
But they also might die.
Because he looks like one of
He's
those
like
ghost
that
fishermen.
guy from who, I know what you did for my summer.
And
Yeah,
I,
there you
Oh,
go. He's
yeah.
got a hook for a hand.
and I feel like that is the that's got to be the answer. The Gordon Fisherman's got to be the guy.
There you go.
All right, Neff,
All right.
go ahead and pull your
Okay.
question out right
Take
now.
that out.
Thank you.
Wait.
All right, and Neff has chosen this one. This is from Becca S. Everybody say hi, Becca.
Hi, Becca.
It's for everybody.
This is for everybody. Actually, this is a purple one, so it's not really for everybody.
Does
This
purple
is-
mean anything, or is it
it's
just a
special
color?
one?
Oh,
And this Becca says, this: can Tori please come back for at least one episode?
Oh.
how many E's were in that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6 E's.
Instagram's worth
Including
of
the
E's.
final one?
Can Tori please? She used all 140 characters here. Can Tori please come back for at least one episode?
Not enough E's.
Well, Becca, your wish is our command. Right now on the line, right here on the Nerd of Godcast, is the lovely Tori Line Jones. Say hello, Tori.
Hello, Tori.
Hey,
Hey, Tori.
I miss you.
What up?
Hey.
Tori, you are on the air right now on the Nerd of Godcast. Tonight is episode 42, so we are answering the questions to life, the universe, and everything. And a question came in from Becca S. that said, can Tori please come back for at least one episode? So we are helping Becca out by bringing you back for tonight's episode. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel super honored. I didn't know that people wanted that again. I don't know. Yay.
Well, we are honored to have you back. Everybody, we got Neff here.
Yeah, hey.
We have Jackie,
I miss you so much.
Jessica,
Hey, Tori.
Steven,
Hey, Tori Coys.
and EJ, who you don't really know EJ that much, but he's here.
What up, bro?
And she's a girl.
Broette.
It's okay.
What's up, what's up,
up
Broette?
north, everyone's guys.
And of
You
course,
got- yous
Nick.
guys.
So, Tori, to be part of the show tonight, you have to answer a question. So, I'm going to reach into our bag of tricks, and I'm going to pull out a question, and you're going to answer it. Is that okay?
Yes, that's super cool.
Okay, so be honest. And that's not a good question. I'm going to ask you. We got to get a good one for you. Can't be something stupid. Tori,
Okay.
you have been given an elephant. You cannot give it away or sell it. What would you do with the elephant?
Oh,
Gosh, Nev.
You just been given a live elephant. You can't sell it. You can't give it away. What are you going to do with this elephant?
Is this a riddle or?
No, this is
It's just a question.
What, you got an elephant now. What are you going to do with it?
the mother is
Oh,
the
I
doctor.
put it in my backyard so it could take care of my overgrown grass problem.
Okay, so you're going to exploit this poor animal for your own agricultural needs.
What doesn't even make sense? Like he'd be well fed from my overgrown yard. And then I would ride him into battle, obviously.
Obviously.
There
There
it
it is.
There it is. That's
In my
exactly
battle,
right.
That's
she
a
means up
Tory
to
answer.
Wawa.
That's right.
I
You'll
need
have
to
Tori
see that in
handle
a
you.
painting or something.
All
I
right, so
might have-
Tori, this is your job is to draw that picture of you
Yes.
riding on the elephant into battle.
into battle.
Can you have
in
Suki with it too?
a neatly trimmed yard, and
With Ben running behind you, trying to catch
With a
up.
Wawa
Big
drinking.
win.
You forgot me.
post that online and tag us in it. So Becca, you got your wish. Tori Line has been part of the show again. The lovely Tori Jones Nay Line.
Yay.
And Tori, from all of us here at the Nerd of Godcast, we love you and we miss you, and we still got a seat right here for you whenever you
And
need
Ben.
it. Okay.
And Ben.
And
I love it, this guy too.
And Ben also, I guess I've been told I have to take Ben now since something about the two becoming one or some crap.
Kind of a package deal now.
Kind of a
sorry.
package deal.
We have to be playing Skyrim somewhere now, but usually it's the deal.
Well, we love you and we miss you. And from all of us in the Nerd of Godcast, God bless your ministry. We'll talk to you soon, darling.
Bye, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Tory Line, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, Becca, we actually pulled that off. We're not really good at doing call-in things, and God only knows once we edit this thing, we might regret having done that. So, all right.
Tori was not in this episode.
Tori was not in this episode.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Megan.
Becca.
But we
This-
tried.
Choose
the
your-
answer to this question, respectfully omitted. Here's alternate take. Sorry, Becca, that's never going to happen. Tori's dead to us. All right, next one. That's just B-roll. That's just B-roll, you guys. Steven is swishing around in the bucket here, and he has found a thin little question. And the question for Steve-O is this. This is, again, another everybody can answer it question.
Yay.
Aside from the Bible, obviously, what is the best book you ever read?
Ooh,
That's easy.
there's a difference between like my favorite or the one that impacted me the most.
What is the best book you ever read?
I know mine.
What is it?
5 People You Meet in Heaven.
Mitch Albom.
It's my favorite book of all time.
We've talked about this on the show before,
It's
I
a
think.
great book. I the first time I read it when I was a little kid, I didn't like reading many things. I read Holes when I was in like kindergarten or first grade, and I was like, okay. But then like I picked up that book because my mom gave it to me when I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and I literally was putting like while I was doing chores, I was like trying to read the book while I was doing chores. Like I'd never been that immersed into a book before.
I always struggle with stuff like that, and I have not read that book. I read Tuesdays with Maury,
Oh,
but
I have not read that one.
I always like I wonder about that kind of things, like the 5 people meet in heaven. Like I get twisted up about it and go, well, is this theologically sound? You know, in heaven we will have not need for anyone but Christ Jesus. And I always can't just enjoy the sentiment of the book because I go, well, this is not gospel. And I don't know. That's just me. But I've heard that it's a lovely book. It's a
great book.
Steven?
It's not. I don't know if it's like the best book I've ever read, but it's definitely the one that came to mind and the one that impacted me the most, especially at the time, was when I was in 8th grade rather. I read a book called Daniel's Story. Daniel's Story was a really 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 good book because it was written from the perspective of this like 13-year-old kid who was going through the Holocaust and his point of view from it. And what he sees and what he experiences, and it was a really impactful book for me at the time.
Cool.
It was one of those books that I read, and I was already kind of like into filmmaking maybe, and in my mind I was like, if I were to ever make a movie and have a budget, this is like my one of my dream projects.
There you go. Name it and claim it. That's our theme for tonight, apparently. Anybody else? A book that has the best book you ever read outside the word?
Like I have my favorite books like The Great Gatsby and To Kill a Mockingbird and Catcher in the Rye, but
Classics.
yeah, but the
The ones they make you read.
no, but I enjoyed them. No, the one that I was made to read that I thought I was gonna hate, but I ended up actually loving, and it really changed high school reading for me was Jane Eyre.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Because my senior year is when the 4 hurricanes went through Florida, so we missed like 11 days of school.
Yeah.
So at the end of my English class, at the end of the year, the teacher's like, "All right, we were going to do these books, but we only have time for one, so you have to choose one: Dracula or Jane Eyre."
Dracula was good.
Which I already had Dracula, so I was like, "Hey, can I just like skip it and just do this report?" She goes, "No, you're gonna do Jane Eyre."
That's when you
I was
pretend
so
that you haven't read
Angry.
it.
I was so angry. I was like, I don't want to read this stupid book. It's so girly and whatever, like Jane Austen stuff.
I did a book report on Sam Hamm's novelization of the 1989 Batman movie 3 years in a row.
Oh my
I did that 2
God.
years.
Nice.
When I was in 7th grade, I went to a different school for 2 months. They brought a book to the school. So when I went back to 7th grade, I do a book report, did it on that book, and then in 8th grade they brought that book to the school. Like the author came to the school, so I did that book report in 7th grade and 8th grade. It just copied it both times.
Cheater.
Good
Oh,
story.
this was before Jesus.
What? Nope, not going to do it.
What?
How did that affect your academic trajectory?
Oh, at the time it was great.
Yeah, well, I know ultimately how did it pay
Ultimately?
off? Looking back now.
Yeah. There's some wins, some losses.
You win some, you
So
lose
what about
some.
Jane Eyre did the trick for you?
I don't know. I mean, I just really enjoyed it, and I didn't expect to. She's orphaned basically. She's raised by for the first few years by an aunt who hates her and hates her existence, and she's sent to this boarding school where she becomes a teacher, which in the 1800s for single women, that's basically what you did until you got married. And she goes to teach for this or take care of this guy who's blind, and they fall in love, and they want to get married and stuff, but then his in-laws come from Bermuda, and there's a whole crazy like family drama stuff that was completely unexpected in a novel of that time. There's a crazy woman living in the attic, and it's his wife, and she like tries to kill her. It's like really weird stuff for 1800s.
The very fact that you call it a crazy woman in the attic shows me you're not ready. Moving on. Anybody else? Books? Cool. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. My favorite.
that's a
It's my
great
favorite book.
Really?
I love that book so much. I've read it so many times. I love it so much.
I've read the 3 of the. I believe there's 4, like in the series after the original, which is great.
It's I think there's like 6 now. They actually even went back and wrote another one after Douglas Adams died.
Because I know there's the original So Long Thanks
Hitchhiker's
for All the
Guide,
Fish.
Restaurant at the End of the Galaxy.
Yep.
So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Mostly Harmless was one that they threw in there. They even had a little mini story. Young Zaphod Plays It Safe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you can go to like these Books A Million type stores and get the entire collection.
Yeah,
of
that's
them.
what I had. I had the big.
But
thick
I remember
book.
getting it at Book Fair, Scholastic Book Fair,
Nice.
when I was like in
Yeah.
6th
I remember
grade.
those.
I
Dude,
love the
Book
book
Fair,
fairs.
man, your mama give you like $5, and I'd go in there. You get your book, you get your little erasers, or if they had them, the markers that smelled like fruit.
Oh yeah.
Remember those?
I bought my first nerdy poster. at a
Dirty
book-
posters. You get like a Garfield poster that says "I hate Mondays" or something.
Well, the thing was, my dad, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2 is coming out, and he loved Dr. Octopus, and I saw a poster for it. It had Dr. Octopus on it. It's like, my dad would like that. And so I bought it for him, and then we just like looked at it. It was so cool. And like, oh, this movie's coming out. It's going to be awesome, Dad.
I remember like all the cool
Thanks, son.
kids, that they would come back out of the Scholastic Fair or whatever. They have like 5 or 6, 7 books because their parents gave them a whole bunch of money.
Rich
So
kids.
You were the rich kids. I always hated
was
that
not one of
season
those.
because
I
like I
bought-
would only get like either one book or like a little poster, but
Yeah.
then I'd
I
have
was
like
lucky if I got
kids
one.
and what did you get? There's always that. What did you get? And then you'll be like, oh, I got a poster, and they're like, oh, well, I got this book and
I
this
have
book.
the
I'm like,
pamphlet
"Oh,
that
great."
shows me all the books that were there.
The big one, the big pieces of paper.
I got a pencil grip, and
I got the
bro, don't get it twisted. I love me some pencil grips. I don't
Hey.
know if y'all know, like those little triangle
Oh,
things.
yeah,
Just
no,
like-
the
dude, that
triangle
was
was
what I was all
awesome.
about.
My elementary school did this thing, and I don't know if it was just at my elementary school, but they had like this that you could you check out certain books in the library, you read them, and then if you take like a little quiz or test, like basically saying like, hey, I did read this book and I know what happened, you get these things called AR points.
Yeah,
and when you get enough, you get.
I think that was Orange
Yeah,
County.
yeah.
Because we did that at my
So-
school.
Wait, did they give you the Pizza Hut individual
Yeah.
pan pizza?
Okay, I had that.
Yes,
Book it.
look
Yeah,
it.
I remember that. I used
Book
to
it
read
was the
for
Not
best.
in my
pizzas.
school,
I
but
remember.
they had like a little store that you could go and you'd have like the little like if you had 10 points, whatever. And I read so much in elementary school, I had so many points. Like I could get anything I wanted from that little like.
She going in there, she rolling in it. She's like,
I
what you want, baby?
was.
What
I
you want? You
was.
want some cinnamon markers? You pick them out. You tell them you take that cinnamon one out of that licorice because that don't smell good. You keep that one.
I always bought the
I was like,
newest
I
Captain
forgot about that.
Underpants.
Captain
Yes.
Underpants.
I wasn't a big
Yes,
fan of
dude,
Captain
Have you
Underpants.
seen the newest trailer for the movie?
Yes.
Did you see who's in it?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe so. Professor Poopy Pants is in the movie.
Yes.
I got so excited when I saw
Yes,
it.
Professor
You are a
Poopy Pants.
grown man.
I listen, but I wasn't when I read that book.
But you
I
just-
was in elementary school,
no,
No,
you
it-
just said the words Professor Poopy Pants.
and I was happy.
This is a Christian podcast.
It's
sir.
all coming back to me now. I used to get Goosebumps books back then. I mean, not,
Oh.
they weren't my favorite or nothing, but like
Magic-
Okay,
Magic
They
Tree
were my
House.
favorite, but
Listen,
I got goosebumps.
I like the
I don't
Berenstain
know-
Bears.
First off,
Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain Bears.
Yeah.
There was a set of books that I got at a book fair, and dude, these things. I wasn't Christian. I'm just telling you, my family wasn't Christian. If I was saved, I wouldn't let my son bring these things in the house. These books came with demons.
Yeah.
They were like scary stories
Yes!
to tell in the
Tell in the
dark.
dark?
Yes!
Okay.
I could listen to
remember
Osu's
that.
for years.
Those were so like the visuals because they don't have
Demon
like
books.
The
They had the
pictures are
pictures,
flashing through
black
my
and
mind
white
now.
yes.
Oh my.
Nightmares
Okay.
for days.
I
Flashbacks.
loved them.
6th grade.
Yes.
What?
We had
I
a fifth
remember
grade
that.
camping. Like every year, the fifth graders would go on a camping trip to Wekiva Springs.
We have so many
and the
more questions
coach
that we're not going to get
always
to.
This is
read
the best
those stories
one.
I
Talk about
dented
books.
my
Like, before
cousin's
we went to
screen
bed.
door
Dude,
running from the
that was
woods
scary. I
because
remember
we
those.
heard something while we were
I
reading.
I still
Those
think
got
about the
me.
woman, and she wanted to get the coins that were on her eyes, and she's like, busy, bizoo. I don't even know, but oh my
Or the girl with
goodness.
her ribbon around her neck and her
Bad
husband
dreams,
couldn't
man.
like
I'm
untie it.
Oh no.
I'm just remembering now all the books I used to read.
Yeah,
in
me
elementary
too.
The
school.
hook on the handle.
Welcome,
was like-
welcome to our childhood literacy episode.
There was like I remember there was a series of books I read where it was all like these weird like sci-fi like where my principal's an alien and all that stuff. It was a
Yeah.
bunch of weird little.
Does anyone
Alright,
remember
I like Time Warp
Wayside
Trio.
Story?
No.
Was it
Yeah.
the school with like the 31 floors because like they went to go build the school and it was supposed to be one floor with like 31 classrooms, but they got it mixed up and it ended up being like a 31 story with one classroom on each story.
Oh.
And there was like one teacher at the very top and it was a bunch of kooky story collections.
It's like
throughout
Wayside.
the
That's
year.
cool.
Was it
Weird
Ways-
Times at Wayside High or
Yeah,
something like
something like
Did you guys
that.
ever read the book Friendle?
that.
No.
No, but I
Oh,
know
wait,
I know
yes,
what
I
you're
did.
talking
Is
Yes,
that
about.
the
I
one?
did.
Because
Yes, I did.
the dude like makes up a name, like starts calling his pencil a Friendle
The Friendle,
instead.
he actually
Oh.
like,
Like
got
people
it
get
in.
mad, like the administration gets like mad that he's doing this. So like I will always write with a pencil, and he writes it Friendle instead, like that. And it's like a whole book about like standing up to the to an establishment.
to
All right,
man.
this is it. I'm just gonna answer this question right now. We got to move on to the next question, but I'm just gonna throw out this is my childhood right
Okay.
here in 5 fingers. First one, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing,
Nice.
I think I've heard of it. I don't know
and
if I
its
read it.
subsequent sequel, the Super Fudge.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Fudge.
Second one is all of the Encyclopedia Brown books.
I didn't
Oh,
read
yeah.
those.
Yes.
Those
I
are
read
good.
Berenstain Bear Scouts.
Third is all of the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Choose Your Own Adventure.
Listen, man,
oh my
Mystery of the
gosh.
Mayans, that was no joke. All right. Fourth, I'm putting this out there. This is a deep cut, but I've only ever met one person that read this book, but like they immediately got my entire life when we found out that we had both read Hooples on the Highway.
I've heard of it.
Somebody out there right now is listening to this podcast and screaming, going, "Oh my gosh, Alvin Hoople!" And he was eating the pancakes with the blueberry syrup, and they were going to Philadelphia.
I bet you sell 7.
Listen,
Bet you
I'm
somebody
just telling
had.
you, somebody.
Wait,
somebody,
did you do it? Did you do that on your trip?
No, I didn't. But man, I want some blueberry pancakes right now. I'm hungry.
What's number 5?
And number 5, How to Eat Fried Worms.
Oh,
I read that.
I remember that.
nice.
I remember that one.
That
All right,
was good.
Jessica, it's your turn. Pull one
Get a
out.
color.
We got to go through these quick. because we got like
Pull a
900
colored one.
questions.
Pull a colored one.
All right, this is a thin
That one
baby
looks
one.
cut.
This one got cut. Mackenzie Alexander helped me cut these, and she
Uh-huh.
cut this one right
She's
in
8
half.
years old.
And I told her that I was going to blame her for this on the air. What is something that you'd like to know about your own future?
Oh, that's dangerous.
Oh, no one should ever know too much about their own future.
What's something that you would like
Unless
to
the
know?
timelines.
You get one answer given to you about your own future. What do you want to know?
I don't know.
That's a tough question.
It is a
That's
weird
a tough
question.
one. That's a
It's
tough
really
one.
tough one.
Some
But
of
I've
the-
learned from my late teens and 20s to not make plans for the future.
No, but you get
'Cause it never
one
works out.
answer. You get one answer. about your life. It's not like who wins the Super Bowl in 2015 or something.
I was like,
Man,
can I
that would
get the
be
Crap, that's not the
lottery?
future anymore.
Can I
No,
get
it's
the
not.
lottery?
That's 2
tickets?
years in the past.
Somebody want to help her out?
I mean, I know I'm gonna make it big. I just want to know, like, if I'm gonna be like a rich director or something.
Shut up, Marty.
Whatever.
You get married in the chapel, oh love.
Hey, man.
Man, my mind just went blank. I don't know. Do I ever get out of Florida?
Do you ever get? Are you trying to escape?
I've always been trying to escape.
Oh.
You've done a terrible job at
I
it.
know.
Your mom left. You should have gone with her.
Well, this
caught
is
the
funny.
single.
Thanks.
Hold
no,
on.
like if you wanted to leave.
Thanks,
Like,
Steven.
if you wanted to leave, I don't want you to leave.
You are the worst.
Throw it back,
No, I was
Salt
just
Bay.
saying, like, if you wanted to
Man.
leave.
Okay, listen.
That was your
Wasn't it
opportunity.
just like 2
She
weeks
offered.
ago? Wasn't it just like 2 weeks ago, or when we were in Palmetto or something like that? You answered a question, and it was you should have never left Florida.
The
Yes.
first time.
So
Like, I'm just gonna
how do you
boomerang
know
back.
the future you is not going to go? You should have never left. We've got to go back to the Sunshine State.
We've got to
Gotta
go
go
back,
back,
Jessica.
Kate. It is
We got to go
Sarah
back.
Nicholas, your turn.
Steven, stop.
Steven, stop. All right,
Stop,
Nicholas,
Steven.
your question is
It's a colored one.
thusly. This is a colored one, so this is one that you can answer, and then you can pick somebody else to answer it too.
Ha.
What is the best comic book cartoon adaptation? So the best comic book cartoon show, animated series based on a comic book.
I don't really have a basis for that because I don't watch comic
Come
book
on, dude.
cartoon shows.
There's only one answer.
I've got an answer, Nick, if you want to choose somebody.
There's only one answer.
Can I
I'll let
guess
Neff
next?
answer.
Are you saying the X-Men?
I'm saying the X-Men.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not to do that.
I have
No,
to.
you don't.
I have to disagree.
Yeah, what?
Were you gonna say Batman?
Batman the animated series.
Let's go, Steve-O. Come on.
Hold on. I'm gonna.
Honestly, I was gonna say Batman. I was
right.
gonna say X-Men first, but then I remembered
Listen,
Batman.
I love Batman animated series, but you know what I've really fallen in love with in the past few weeks?
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Young Justice. Young Justice is so good.
With
like
that black
Young-
guy who's Superman?
Young Justice is making what?
No, when I was at your house, I kept calling that black guy Superman. You kept getting mad at me for calling him Superman.
mean Aqualad?
He's not Superman.
no, he was just wearing a
He's just
Superman
a guy
shirt.
in the background of a scene that was wearing a Superman T-shirt.
And I was like, is that Superman?
And I'm like,
Did they
no.
make Superman a young
and
black
he
guy in
wouldn't
the
stop
show?
with the, is that guy Superman? Is Superman black in the show?
That's when you punch him in the face.
Steven, stop it. Leave.
It was like 11:30 at
Young
night.
Justice is making me a DC fan. Young Justice is making me a fan of the DC universe.
Everybody should watch Young Justice.
It's
real quick.
really good. And like there's so many famous people on there. I was watching it with Nick the other day and I'm going, Shazam. I said, Captain Marvel. I said, is that Sam Seaborn? Is that Chris Traeger? And he looked it up. He's like, there it is. It's Rob Lowe is
Wow.
Captain Marvel.
I started watching Flash recently, and there's you get a couple episodes.
Clark Kent. This is literally the greatest day of my life.
Yes.
But there's a couple episodes, and I couldn't really see the character's face at first, but I heard the voice, and I'm like, that sounds kind of like Mark Hamill's Joker, but this is Flash.
You saw the
Oh.
Trickster episode.
And he's
The
on the
Trickster
Trickster
episode,
episode,
yeah.
and I'm like, is that who I think
Now the
it
cool
is?
thing is, on the original
Like
Flash
90s
show
Flash
from the
show.
1990s, he was the Trickster.
That's
So he was
awesome.
replaying.
And he did
I
a
just-
similar
And the
kind
guy,
of voice.
the guy who plays Barry's dad was the Flash on the original
I
Flash
just-
TV show.
I loved it. I thought it
The
was
more
great.
you know.
Yep,
The
very good.
Trickster's also a rip-off of the Joker.
Yeah, but
Yeah, and the Riddler.
And what about the
Yeah.
Creeper?
Oh, from Scooby-Doo?
No, the Creeper from
From
Batman.
Creeper.
Your
That's all I
turn.
know.
what?
Jackie.
I think it's your turn, Jackie.
Everyone's
We're
pick
around,
but
we're around the
you.
circle.
Okay.
What you got, girl?
Give it to Tony.
Oh,
Red.
sorry.
It's okay. So you you can do this, and then you can pick somebody else to read it to
Okay.
or answer it to. If you could have a fictional vehicle as your primary method of transportation, what would it be?
Obviously, the Batmobile.
The Batmobile.
That's easy.
All right, now you get to make one other person answer the question.
answer.
I want EJ to answer.
EJ.
I think I had this conversation with somebody here. Wonder Woman's invisible airplane.
Nice.
There you go.
I want that.
Why?
It's just dope.
Why not?
Why not?
Not the
It is-
boatmobile?
It is dope. The dope
The
mobile.
Boatmobile.
I want the
The invisible
helicarrier.
boatmobile?
All right.
Jackie, I think you failed. You should have said the TARDIS.
Oh, you should have said the
I
thing.
don't.
I was going to
I
say
don't know
the
if I
thing from the
consider that.
Spider-Man ride.
It'd be weird because it'd be awkward to get around in, but is the Enterprise the wrong answer?
No, it's not.
Like, how do you parallel park in that thing? I
But
don't-
here's the real
Well, you split it
question.
in half.
Which Enterprise?
E. Enterprise E is bad to the bone, dude.
Not
Yes.
D?
No, E. Dude, E is slick. Dude.
Is that the new one?
E? Well, it's the one from the most recent Next Generation
Films?
movies. You know.
Oh, the next generation.
moving on. EJ,
What's up?
what is the weirdest video game that you love anyway, even though it's weird?
I don't know why, just off the top of my head, Earthworm Jim comes to mind.
I love Earthworm Jim.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I love
That's
it.
a weird game.
Yeah.
Do you remember who you're supposed to rescue in Earthworm Jim?
It wasn't it like a bee, like a
She
bee
was
princess?
Yeah, but you know what her name was?
No.
It was Princess What's Her Name. They just made like this random generic space princess and named her Princess What's Her Name.
They
I
legit
love that
didn't
game.
care.
It was weird.
Dirty Jim. Earthworm Jim.
Dirty Dan.
Hey, I'm Dirty Dan.
No, I'm Dirty Dan.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Ice cream.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Earthworm Jim was really funny.
Yeah.
That was a funny
Was
game.
that just EJ or is that to everybody?
Anybody else that wants to jump on it?
Oh, I know there's one. It was a Captain Crunch video game, and you had to like feed these little furry things.
Do you remember the
What?
Burger King video games?
no.
Oh, the Cart King, and all
Yeah,
that.
Burger
I
King.
remember that
Burger
they
King put
existed.
out like in their little Happy Meals or whatever it was. They put out Xbox 360 games.
Yes.
and they were all little mini games, but they were fun.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was called Sneak King.
Yeah,
where
we
you,
did.
you played the Burger King guy, and you had to sneak around like work sites and
That's
like
so
secretly
creepy.
feed people.
They
And,
give
like,
him like coffee
Yeah.
and a
Wait, you mean the
croissant
king?
wedge.
Like
the King from Burger
Was he
King.
trying to feed
creepy.
homeless people in Orlando, and that's why he was sneaking around?
Like the only level I ever played, he was on a construction site with a bunch of lumberjacks.
Yes.
And you had to sneak up and like
Construction
give them a
site with
Chris
lumberjacks.
sandwich or
But if
something
you
like
if
that.
you, there's like one part in that
Or
level,
like you'd have to hide in a trash can and wait for them to come out and then like pop out real
so
quick.
creepy.
And
you
give them a
scare them with a croissant
Give them a
sandwich.
Whopper Jr.
And then, like,
And then
at
they
one
fall
point-
off the scaffolding and die.
There's literally one point where you literally just walk up to a tree and you touch it and it just falls down randomly.
That's the power of the king. Neff, your question, sir. I like Flower. I like games like that.
That, yes. Yeah,
That
What
is a
am I-
little weird.
There we go.
All right, Quentin, this is a big one. All right.
This is just for you.
This is from Zachary. Zachary says, I'm giving Supergirl, the CW show, another shot because of how much I play her on Injustice 2. What is your opinion on this? Is a three-part question. What is your opinion on Supergirl?
I think she's a good character, especially when she's a Red Lantern.
Oh, we picked the wrong person for this one. What's your opinion on the Supergirl from CW?
I haven't watched it.
Anybody?
I've watched the first episode.
It's pretty good. I've
And
watched several episodes.
I have not found anything that's made me dislike it. I just
Yeah.
got a lot of shows I'm trying to watch.
I don't even know. The storyline to me is so inconsequential because there's so many different ways that they tell those stories in the DC television universe. But I really like her. Like she as a likable, quirky, but like I like watching her kind of discover her powers and come into her own. Like I like her a lot. She's really well cast. I really like it when she interacts with other characters. It's just I think it's a cool show. The second part of this was, what is your opinion on Injustice 2 if you've played it? And I know you have.
Yeah, I think it's really fun, and I'm glad they updated a lot of the characters and brought in a lot of new ones.
Yeah.
I'm sad to see some of the older ones go.
I'm sure they'll be around in DLC.
Yeah, but
Except for Shazam, who I forgot in the first one was killed. Superman killed him
yeah, straight up.
Spoilers.
in the first game that came out like 4 years
Guys,
ago.
chill out.
Right?
That I'm also never
It's a
gonna play. I
PlayStation
don't
3
care.
game.
I have it on PlayStation 4.
But there's. I thought it was really good too. We actually played it for like a couple hours.
Yeah, we
the
just
other
played back
day.
and just
back and
tickling.
forth and back and forth, and
Yeah.
it was really fun.
He was padding his stats
You have it
on
on
his
PlayStation 3?
character.
That was all. I was just trying to level up Harley Quinn so she could wear the
And I
clothes.
kept on getting. It was awful, just getting eaten by hyenas over and over and over again.
So Zach, our opinion on Supergirl, thumbs up. Our opinion on Injustice 2, 2 thumbs up. Really good stuff.
Yes.
And then he said also, what are you guys' PlayStation names?
Mine is Stevo Supremo 26, all one word, no underscores.
Mine's an NWSADLER.
NW Sadler.
NW
Yes.
Sadler?
Mine is Official Ness.
Oh my god.
Just like everything else.
Just like everything else, brand, baby.
NEHS.
NEHS.
Never say nothing. Never.
All right, wait, do that one more time because you.
Never say never.
So like never say never, but with F's instead of
F's.
B's.
Two
NE
F's.
double F'er.
What'd you call me?
So much of this episode we can't use.
This is PS4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no,
it's still
PlayStation
Oh,
Network.
okay. Northern Belly.
We
sorry.
lost Nick. Nick's gone.
Nigga's done.
Nick's done.
What is yours? Say it again, Jessica, between the coughing and the giggling.
Northern Belle, BELLE 87.
87, and I'm S. Talavera. That's S, T as in Tom, ALA, V as in Victor, ERA, because I got my PlayStation Network account before you could put cool names on it. And it
You
just
should
took it from my
email
email
Sony
address.
and be like, I want to change my
I
name.
have. They don't let you do that.
That's-
Microsoft lets you change your name.
Say
if
that
you
to
want
them. They'll,
Well, if you
they'll
had to pay
change it.
him, you had to pay him to do it.
It don't matter. I would pay someone to lose that. Whatever.
Give me $5 to make it.
But my wife has a
Tony.
cool one. My wife's is Infamous Sheena.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
that's
her.
cool.
All right, I'm gonna pull a couple more, and we'll kind of general field these things because we got a lot more questions and not a lot of time. If your if your family was a cartoon family, which family would your family be?
Bob's Burgers.
I was about to say Bob's Burgers.
The Belchers.
Yes.
If your family was a cartoon family, which family would your family be?
They're dysfunctional. So let's go with cartoon families. I don't know, The Simpsons. I have no idea. My dad's not stupid though.
I don't want to be the Griffins, but I feel like I'm the Family Guy.
I wanted to say King of the Hill. No, my dad's kind of handy. I'll say King of the Hill.
Not American Dad?
No,
Or the
No.
Cleveland Show?
the Cleveland Show. That's me. I'd be lucky to pull off Fred Flintstone.
Happy mustache.
What's your favorite movie soundtrack?
Oh, that's so hard.
Soundtrack or score?
Moulin Rouge.
Soundtrack.
Soundtrack.
Call it what you want, Steven. I don't care.
Well, there's a difference.
I mean, I always think in movie scores. Like, that's what I notice is not necessarily the soundtrack, but
Anything
the
done by
score.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, praise.
Well, there's a difference between soundtrack and score.
Answer the loving question.
Guardians of the Galaxy, first one. Also makes Volume 1.
That one's very hard for me to pick.
It's a fun question. You suck the joy right out of it by nitpicking over.
There's a difference.
There's a difference between joy.
There is.
Where's our video
I
camera?
really don't want to see you do that.
There's a difference.
Okay.
Well, mine's quirky. I like Napoleon Dynamite soundtrack.
I love.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good
The
one.
synth piano.
synthesizers.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I can't pick a favorite. There's just a bunch
Too
that I
many.
really like. There's too many.
I like Thomas Newman. Because he has a very
Bro, listen.
his sound is very fluid throughout like all of his movies.
I want to live in the soundtrack of Finding Nemo.
Yes.
That one's very
What
chill.
is
Yes.
up?
See, for the longest time, I got Thomas Newman and Randy Newman confused. So
Randy
I always
Newman
thought, I was like,
All Pixar movies.
so I was like, oh, Thomas Newman did it. So is he? I thought he was Randy Newman for the longest time.
For superhero soundtracks, obviously the Avengers is the
love
bomb.
the Avengers.
Love the Avengers. Monsters Incorporated is a really
one's good.
fun, like
Do-do-do-do-do.
jazzy little.
If you're driving down the path of the Pixar movies, to me, Michael Giacchino's The Incredibles.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
god,
yeah.
that and it's so
Yes.
much fun to play. Like as someone who's played it, it's so much fun to play.
Oh,
If we're picking Pixar,
we
then
forgot
Brave.
that you were a musician.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
I love it.
If you were a supervillain, who would be your superhero arch enemy?
Oh, this is kind of good.
To help answer that question, what kind of supervillain would you be? Like, what would you have powers?
Well, that's your
Is
deal
that
to figure
like,
out.
What's the
So,
the
who's
dealio?
in whose rogue gallery would you belong?
Well, I don't want to say Batman because I don't want Batman to hate me.
Yeah, Batman will wreck you.
Yes.
I was like,
I
I
feel
don't,
like
want,
just
I
because
don't
I'm
want any of them to hate me.
I feel like just because I'm a woman, it would be Batman.
Why?
What
Because
he has
all
some-
the girl bad guys.
he has a lot
Yeah,
of
he's
good
got-
girl bad, like well written female villains.
I mean, those female villains are tough chicks.
Well, Batman has like probably the best written
He's got
villains.
the best
period.
bad guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's like
This is
Batman
true.
and then Spider-Man are like number one.
Wait a
and
minute,
two.
Spider-Man number 1 and 2. Spider-Man's bad guys are ridiculous.
I just like the
They're
stereo.
pretty cheesy.
I'm cheesy. I'll be Spider-Man's supervillain.
I'd be a Flash villain.
A Flash villain.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
you're techie.
Yeah.
What do you think, EJ?
I mean, I was probably just gonna go Batman just because I don't know. It'd be interesting to go against him because he's so smart. But then again, either him or like Iron Man.
Iron Man needs some more good villains.
Yeah. So
Nefer?
I don't know. Jonah Hex.
What?
I don't know. He seems like the easiest to beat.
See, I was gonna say Dr. Fate just because he's an old guy now.
Oh, Dr. Fate would also be difficult to beat.
Dr. Fate will mess you up, though.
Yeah, well, might as well.
I have played
Go big or
against
go
him
home.
in Injustice 2.
Dr. Fate, no helmet.
Oh, he's in Injustice too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
actually, it would be fun to go against the Guardians of the Galaxy just because they're so like I don't know,
Because they're not like
quirky and
they're
like.
not necessarily super power, except for Groot, of course. But they have their own
Skill sets.
Yeah, it'd be
sets
fun
that make
to go
them
against them.
a regular just team.
Gotcha.
Space Avengers.
Space.
That's what they are.
I think it'd be cool to be like an X-Men villain, because X-Men villains have really cool powers.
They do.
Like that's where you're gonna get like the most unique. Like Batman villains are all crazy and they have their gimmicks, but X-Men villains are straight up like boss. Like Magneto, is a boss.
Mm-hmm.
I would say one of the best villains of all time.
Very cool. Good answers. All right, taking a couple more here.
Or you can always go for a Fantastic Four villain because you know they're not going to be that impressive.
It'd be nice to have any.
What this is from Crystal. Crystal submits this. What are you most likely to do on your cell phone? Like, what is the one thing that you do more than anything else on your cell phone?
Watch
Instagram.
Go on Facebook.
IMDb.
Pinterest.
YouTube. Oh,
I could see Nick being a YouTube guy.
but not Neff.
I know that's you.
Twitter.
Yeah, Neff,
Twitter
you
all
live
day.
on YouTube.
Huh?
I'll say Neff lives on
It's
YouTube.
funny that nobody said use the phone.
Text
I don't
message.
talk
Nope.
talk on the phone.
No one talks to me.
If they were making a movie of your life, who would play you?
Do they have to be alive still?
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. Fair enough. EJ, they're making a movie of your life. Who's playing you?
Aziz.
Aziz Ansari.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I
you're
would
too
watch
tall.
that.
Perfect.
Yeah,
casting.
but I love him. He's amazing. I want to be his best friend.
What's up, it's your boy, officialness.
I love
Dude, I'm hungry. I need chicky parm parm.
Yeah.
Give me tum tum. My go go
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Treat
I love
yourself.
that episode. Treat yourself. Well, both of them.
Who's playing you in a movie? Jackie?
I don't know.
Jennifer Garner.
Who's the girl that she plays Kimmy Schmidt?
Oh, yes. She's also
Yeah.
Aaron
Part
from
of
The
me
Office.
wants to take offense of that because she plays like the airhead characters, and I'm not an airhead.
I like her as Aaron.
No, but there was times when I'm watching The Office and she reminds me of you, but not because of what she's done, but just
Because
kind of
everything's,
how
like,
she
super
does it.
positive
Yes.
and she-
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like when you first said that, and I watched The Office, I was like, I'm a little offended. Steven.
But
said
she also
that
gets
because-
angry.
Yeah, but
sometimes.
Steven's
She
50% Dwight and 50% Andy, so what do you want?
That's true.
That's true.
And sometimes Gabe. And that's just
What?
Sometimes.
Gabe.
Who's playing you in a movie, Neff?
Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Let's see.
Why you say that?
Why are you
I would say that for
sad?
Steven.
Why didn't you say you just?
I can see that for Steven.
I can see
Okay,
Seth
no.
Rogen play Steven, man.
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
All right, so this is what we'll do. We'll
Stunt casting.
who is the person that who's going to play the person across the table from you? That's what you get to do. Figure it out. for
Robin
somebody
Williams
else.
for you.
Oh.
I said, do they have
thank
to be
you.
alive?
Dom DeLuise.
I always wanted to be played by
Wow.
Bill Murray. That would be my
that's
dream.
cool.
Nice.
Okay. I've been told Philip Seymour Hoffman for me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
really good.
That's good.
But he
Especially
is
in,
deceased.
In Pirate Radio.
What is the best kind of bear?
Black Bear.
Wrong.
Bears.
That's debatable.
Battlestar Galactica.
Bear is my niece's nickname, so
What
I
kind
would
of
say
bear
my niece is the best bear.
Is best.
Aw.
Correct answer is Pooh Bear.
Oh.
Oh, I was gonna say the bear from the Revenant.
I was
That
like,
was awesome.
Oh,
That bear was
dadgum.
beastly.
Messed up.
If you were to get rid of one U.S. state, which would it be and why?
Kansas.
These are great questions.
Okay, no offense. Okay, no offense to Montana, but I keep track of all my collectors in the United States, and I don't have any collectors from Montana.
Well, there's nobody
So
in
Just get rid of
Montana.
it.
I
So
keep track.
Montana, you're dead to me.
You're dead to me.
Well, nobody
Montana.
lives in Montana. It's got like the
Like what happens in Montana? I've been asking
There's
this for like 4
3
years.
old couples and 900 cows. That's Montana.
Okay, I just want to know.
make North Dakota and South Dakota one Dakota. Get rid of it.
I have collectors
just
in
one
South
Dakota.
Dakota and
I
North
like
we
how-
don't need two.
Just-
I would have
like
said.
Mr. Dakota, tear down this wall.
I like it when Jackie said North Dakota and South Dakota. She went North Dakota and South Dakota.
Get rid of the
'Cause you gotta say it like that.
reunification of the Dakotas.
Wisconsin.
West Virginia.
I'm getting rid of Kentucky. Nothing good's come out of Kentucky.
Wow.
I said
California.
Kansas.
There.
All you
I
got
have
is-
my reasons.
What'd you
Thank
say?
you, Kentucky, for all your
California.
support.
Why
I love
all they have
California?
I
are
have my
tor-
reasons.
all they have are tornadoes.
Montana, you gotta
Speaking
go.
of Kentucky,
Texas.
And to them, everything
Texas.
causes
Texas,
cancer.
no
But
way.
all my exes
That's
live
where
in
the
Texas.
Oh my
movies
gosh,
come from.
everyone cannot
That's why I
talk
hang
over
my hat in
everyone.
Tennessee.
You can go live in the United States of California.
Speaking of Kentucky, Green Lantern, greatest DC hero of all time or greatest hero overall of all time?
He's the worst.
Neither.
He's the worst.
Yeah,
When
did
it's
you
shut
submit
up.
that
Submitted
question?
by
Starting
Lloyd.
with,
Of course.
I thought it was
Starting with
submitted by
Jackie.
Close enough.
All right, we got a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. And
All right.
there's so many good questions. I feel like we should save this and make this a 2-part episode.
That'd be great.
Nah.
Let's do it.
But we got to we got
Safenya.
to keep going. If you didn't know, this question submitted by Dustin. If you didn't know how old you were, how old would you be?
I ask that question to a lot of people. I'll ask them how old do they think I am.
So can we do that for the person
89.
across from us?
No. If this is your question, if you didn't know your birthday, if you didn't know how old you were, how old would you be?
I still feel like I'm 18, even though I'm 22.
I'd probably say,
People over 30 are going, shut up right now.
I don't know.
It's like
Well,
18 might as well be 22.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so old, but it's just like I feel like I'm like still just graduated from high school, and I don't feel like an adult. I'm technically an adult, but I don't feel like one. I
Well,
feel like a kid.
It's okay, neither
What
do
does
I.
an adult feel like?
I don't know.
Paying bills.
Not this.
Paying bills.
I mean, I kind of
Like
pay bills.
pretty
but,
much
like,
working, because if not, you're gonna be homeless.
Paying the telephone bill.
To me, that's
Paying
being an adult.
My bills.
I feel like I'm 25.
Like injuring yourself
I got
in the
Beyonce
middle
and
of the
Kelly
night while
over
you're
here.
asleep. You wake up and you're like, why do I hurt?
Yeah.
See, I'd probably see. I feel like an old man. So I'd probably say like 35. That's not old, but
Really, because I feel like
older.
I never made it past 25.
sorry,
I would say
Tony.
24, 25.
It's okay.
Yeah, I say 25.
I treasure every ring on my tree. What are you known for?
I don't know.
Like, what's your gimmick?
My neck beard.
Well, you shaved that off.
Yeah, you shaved it
You
off.
look much cleaner tonight.
Yeah, you look nice.
Quentin.
Thank you.
Do that every day.
And I like that you've been wearing ties lately, Neff. You look good.
You do. Neff's like raise his game, man.
Yeah, man. I
Well,
see
I
you,
feel.
Neff. What's-
I don't know why. I feel like this is the season.
Yeah.
We all move into
Season.
different.
I was about to say,
Season.
Neff is on a
Season.
mission,
Season.
bro.
Season for what?
He's putting out his bait, ladies. I'm
You
just
know
saying.
what I mean? It's the season. I'm feeling it.
Tis
I'm
the
praying
season,
a lot
ladies.
lately.
Touch your neighbor, say
I'm
favor.
getting into it.
Won't he do it?
Won't
You
you
know,
do
God
it?
will make
Hallelujah,
a way when there
amen.
seems to be no way.
You never know. Someone might just move down here, man.
I know.
You never know.
You
God
never
might just
know.
open the door and usher in a friend. Do you believe in aliens?
No.
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 Okay.
Nah.
I believe in Ellen.
I believe in illegal aliens. Build a wall.
Go home.
You're wrong.
fired.
Huge.
From Nolan, what is one superpower you'd like to have, and what would you do with it?
I want to fly. And fly.
I want to have.
I just want to fly.
Pyrokinesis or teleportation.
I want to have.
Teleportation would
Hold
be
on a
great.
second. Jackie's answer was hilarious.
Good.
I want to fly and fly. Like she answered the question and then answered the second question. What she would do with it?
Oh my goodness.
Self-explanatory.
She just wants to fly. Put your arms around her baby. Put your arms around her baby.
But like, I want like the wings. I don't want to
And
like
now,
just be like
back
up
to the
and away.
cactus.
I want the wings.
That's great.
So you want like bird wings.
Yeah.
You want like aerodynamic flying,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
like Superman
like the
floating.
intense like wingspan.
You
like,
want a means of propulsion, not just I can just fly. Like
yeah,
Superman.
yeah, because that's kind of lame. I want the wings.
I want
Is it lame?
feel like-
want the
infinite
wings like
I want the
Falcon?
wings.
wisdom.
Yeah.
I think it would be
Like
pretty
Solomon.
fascinating to just like jump up and
Yes.
fly.
Too many conversations happening at once
sorry.
here. My ADD is just going full red alert. You want what?
Infinite wisdom.
Infinite. Infinite
All
is a very dangerous term to just be bandying about.
I don't expect
If you got
to-
infinite,
Supreme.
look, read Ecclesiastes and see what
Supreme
infinite wisdom will get you. Solomon's like, this all sucks.
Everything
Everything is worthless.
Listen, I know.
Cut the baby in half.
I don't.
That was way yes.
No, I don't expect you to have seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but at the end, somebody gets that
Yeah.
and she explodes. So, take that with a grain of
They
salt.
cut a baby.
It's a good thing they didn't give her the one ring. I'm just saying.
Oh goodness.
Clearly, she can't handle power.
I would want to be able to stop time.
It was Kate Blanchett, and she was also Galadriel.
It
That was the joke
was.
there. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
that's funny.
Okay.
Because then I can sleep longer.
You know what's funny is that that was going to be my answer, but when I put these questions together, I knew that Steven was going to steal that answer and that he would forget that he was stealing it from me.
I mean, I knew that I was stealing it from you.
Good. Just as long as you know.
Because I almost called it the Zach Morris timeout.
What celebrity, living or dead, would you want to invite to Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh.
Whoa,
Robin
my
Williams.
I
This
like
is
those
tough.
questions.
Robin Williams. That's my answer.
This question is brought to you by a biscuit restaurant in St. Augustine, Florida.
This one right now that you're about to read?
No, the one about
Oh,
which
that
celebrity
one.
Thanksgiving.
See, I thought about Robin Williams too, but I was like, man, we're never gonna get to eating.
I don't care. You know what I will do with it when
Thanksgiving is all about eating.
Oh,
You know what
pass
I'll
the
do?
gravy. I gotta put the gravy on my potatoes. It's gonna be great. Oh, no. Oh, I gotta cut the turkey. Here we are. Give me a knife. Gotta cut the turkey. Oh my goodness, it's a bird. I'm a bird. I'm a turkey. Gobble gobble.
You know what I do? I just pretend to
That was my
eat
Robin
fake
Williams.
stuff with Robin Williams. That's very good.
Good.
Here it comes
Very
right
good.
now. Oh, you like dark bacon or light meat? I'm not a racist when it comes to my meat. Ah,
Patrick Stewart.
You did it professionally.
Patrick Stewart.
I heard a
Patrick
little Homer
Stewart.
Simpson.
Make
there.
it.
Oh, that's more of a.
Engage.
No, I can't do my
Can't do
Patrick
it.
Stewart.
Tony, just bring all of our answers to life.
show.
That's right. Okay.
Carol Channing.
Ah, okay.
It's tough for me. It'd either be Justin Timberlake or Chris Pratt.
Not Andy Warhol?
Ooh.
Living or dead.
Steven. See, you need to. You should.
Yeah, but he's gonna be bringing drugs to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
So would
And
Robin
a whole
Williams.
bunch of.
Oh.
Even though Andy Warhol is my biggest
I want
artistic
cranberry sauce
inspiration.
and LSD. Yeah, you're
Oh, look at the turkey.
I think Chris Pratt and Anna Faris would be the best.
That's
Like
funny.
to collect
that-
together
Yeah, together.
with Jack.
Yes.
Chris Evans.
They're a little
You-
pirate.
can you- just for Thanksgiving or just in general?
I mean, in general.
Okay.
Oh.
So I went to this restaurant in St. Augustine, and they were serving biscuits, and it was a really good restaurant. And that was the question they asked you when you made your order was, you'd make your order, I would like the biscuit with egg on it. And they would say, okay, if you could invite a celebrity to your house for Thanksgiving, who would you invite? So then when you sat down and you waited for your food, when your food was ready, they would call out the name of the person that you had answered the question with.
That's cool.
that's cool.
Which was hilarious because you knew what the question was. So you're sitting in your restaurant at your breakfast, and people are like, Abraham Lincoln, Kermit the Frog. I mean, people are like answering. So you're hearing all the, and
That's
you're
cool.
seeing other people's answers being hollered out, which was
I
kind
said
of cool.
Kermit the Frog. It's not a real person.
I would have Kermit the Frog over.
Jim
That's
Henson.
He's a celebrity, okay?
right. And yeah, so all right.
Offensive about my Kermit.
Apparently.
Jim Henson would have been my answer.
Oh, I love Jim Henson.
Jim Henson was
good.
my answer.
He's amazing.
So last question: who on this show do you wish you could be roommates with? And for the sake of this question, we will permit opposite gender cohabitation. Who on this show do you wish you could be roommates with?
Jessica.
Jackie.
What up?
We've talked about it.
Yeah, we've already talked about it.
Steven?
Neff. We've already talked about it.
Clearly there's a lot of pre-question coupling happening. Neff?
I said Nick.
Oh. Well, fine. I'll go live with EJ then.
You can
Well,
have
I
more
wanted
than
to
one
move out,
roommate.
and then
No,
you would move
Steven,
out
I was
with me.
second choice. You're my first choice, okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Anyway.
Nick?
You.
It's funny.
It's a little late for that.
True.
Ta-da!
Wishes do
Maybe
come
magic.
true.
All my tweens.
I'm looking around the table and I'm...
Your wife. No, your
Best
answer.
roommate.
Follow-up.
I'm not saying that.
I did your dishes.
Follow-up question. Who would you kill if you had to live with them?
Steven.
Neff.
Sorry,
What?
Steven.
You said that so quick.
Decide between Steven or Neff.
Well, dadgummit, listen, because the only time that either one of us would live together is if we were married. So don't kill me if we're
I
married.
allowed cross-gender cohabitation for this question.
So you wouldn't have to
And
be
we've
married.
also said multiple times that we would kill each other. So.
I know that, but I still don't like hearing it said
Yay.
aloud on
So
a
Jackie wouldn't kill me.
Everybody's
But
answer
you're
is Steven
close.
except for EJ,
Well,
who
thanks,
hasn't
Steven.
been here
You're
long
close.
enough
You're, like,
for
neck
that
and
to be his
neck.
Kill
answer.
Jackie then.
Okay.
If I
Sorry,
kill you
Steve-O.
first.
I just
I'd
threw a
be a
name out.
delight
Neff.
to live
That's
with.
it.
Would you?
It's all
Yes, I
love,
would.
no
Why?
offense.
Jessica's
Because
face.
I'm courteous.
Are you?
I keep to myself.
Okay.
I have a surround sound system and a nice TV.
Okay.
Do you have a
Pick
surround
up
sound
after
system?
yourself.
Is
Are
your
you- are you
bedroom
Are you
slobby?
clean?
soundproofed?
I can
Where am
be.
I going to hear that surround sound system?
No, it'd be in the living room.
Okay, wait,
More
hold on, hold
importantly,
on.
living
you're
room.
clean.
Yes.
Do you clean up your mess?
Yes.
Yes.
I wash my dishes.
Yes. You
I
pay
do
your
my
bills on
laundry.
time?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That's why I'm broke right now, because I paid all my bills on time.
There's
Feeling of
a
being
lot of questions where we have tonight, and some of them are clearly not designed to help us be better friends. There were some spiritual questions that were put out there too, and I have them in another bag, but I'm just going to go down my list here because we're way out of time. Man, there's some good ones too. Gosh, let's just take the time to do these the right way. As you gain levels in life, and y'all just pop up. This will sort of be like popcorn answer time. So whoever has the answer, just don't pout it, just shout it. As you gain levels in life, this is submitted by Brandon. How has discipleship in your own life changed?
Receiving or giving?
Let's talk about your personal discipleship, like your personal walk.
It's definitely helped me realize different lessons and like different things, especially in the Bible. Like the older I get, the more I experience, helps me to kind of put other things into perspective, into new perspectives.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the older I get, and I guess the more responsibility I find myself, God gives to me compassion and patience and really understanding. Like, to love a person is to have compassion and have patience. That's for me the biggest thing that's happening right now in this level up of my life.
That's good.
With your walk, there's the hope for maturity in the aspects. So there's been maturity that's happened and that continues to happen, as well as learning to not carry all of the burdens myself that I don't have to stress out about certain things, like learning to kind of lean on God and let him kind of take care and guide me through things.
Right.
For me, it's like the more I get into it, the longer I'm in any ministry, I feel like I get more, I guess I feel more responsible for a lot of things, and so I just have a deeper hunger to be involved with the people that are being impacted.
Yeah.
So I've been getting more involved, or trying to put myself into better situations, like trying to reach out more.
And I think that goes to even EJ's first question about the question is that our discipleship or the way we disciple other people? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe the one of the most natural side effects of our discipleship is that we ultimately do disciple other people. I mean, Christ brings us to the point where he says, go and make disciples. That's what disciples do.
That's what I always think of.
Yeah, and that's good. One of the things that I do is reading the Word and trying to have a better understanding of the Word as itself. I think when I was young, I could kind of fortune cookie clip out a scripture verse and just sort of live on it. But I think that as I've gotten older and I've looked and learned and appreciated and understanding the context of the scripture and who is writing and to whom they are writing, and going back and looking at the original language, the Hebrew or the Greek, and trying to unpack those words and compare it and line it up with other verses that use that sort of terminology and background, so I can better understand what's going on. Okay.
So you can keep rolling.
Yeah, it's just the Jesus questions. You might not be any good here. Why did God give us the Bible? What was the purpose of God's word to us? This is from Stacy.
I mean, I think of like the little acronym, like I've seen it on Facebook and stuff. It's like basic instructions before leaving Earth. Like, basically, I've heard it described as his love letter to us, as his instruction booklet, as the cheat sheet. I mean, it's God's way of communicating to us on paper, and it's really cool to think that there's so many different people who have written, but there's like there's a continuity.
I love that. Yes.
It's a beautiful thing, like, because it's God inspired.
I love that.
Like,
and the way that so many different voices coming together, it shows that this isn't just one dude who sat down and just invented this.
Yeah, it's like there's so many.
God did it over hundreds of years with people
good.
from totally different areas of the world at that time.
Backgrounds. Like, and that's the incredible.
Shepherds and kings and warriors and doctors and like
the 12 disciples. It's just like you get a little bit of everything. You had someone who was a tax collector and a fisherman, and it's a really great way to see how God can use all of us, no matter what aspect or aptitude that we may have as an individual. That doesn't mean that you're excluded from God's plan.
And I was reading a thing earlier today, and I don't know, Neff, you might have to walk me through this because it's a sports analogy. So I might fumble. Here. And he's saying, look, imagine all these different teams in the NFL. There is an NFL series of rules and regulations that all the teams have to follow by. The codes, the guidelines, this is how the game is played. But every single team has their own playbooks. Every single team has their own strategies. Every single team is a little bit different. And I think that in different parts of the world, in different parts of denominations, and even across history, that churches are different. Mega churches are going to be different from small little country hometown churches. They're going to be different from more traditional denominations versus more like non-denominational or progressive churches, the emergent church, whatever you want to call it without trying to make a negative stereotype. And of course, that's just like our Western church. You compare it to like what goes on in the Middle East, or or underground churches in China, or wherever it might be. Every denomination, every specific body is going to play the game differently. But God has chosen to give us His Word as one universal, league-wide set of rules that even though you might play to your strengths, or you might play to your preferences, or you might play according to your coach or your pastor's playbook, it's still God's rules. It's still God's one unified thing that all the teams have to follow by. And I thought that was a really great analogy for that. Hopefully that applies to that question.
I like that.
Thank you. Will there be mac and cheese in heaven?
Yes.
I hope so.
Thank you, Alexandria, for your question. But no, she actually continues this, and she says, what would you suggest someone read to have a clearer understanding of a relationship with God when they're still fairly new in their faith?
Besides the Bible.
Besides the Bible.
Well, like where in the Bible? Because you don't want to tell someone who's newly saved, hey, read Genesis.
Well, okay,
Like,
starting with the Bible.
Start at the beginning and go through. Like, don't.
Every time that we have, because this is what was done for me. I gave my heart to Jesus at a Petra rock concert in 1991, and I raised my hand, I said the prayer, and they kind of pulled us along to the side afterwards, and they gave us some cool materials, and they gave us a copy of the Gospel of John. I still have it. It's got the Petra with the sword logo on the front and everything like that. And I always, even to this day, when I'm talking with a young person, do you have a Bible? Let's get you started reading. I always put a bookmark in them for the book of John, because it's a great place to learn about Jesus. And you can't go wrong learning about Jesus. I mean, He is the living demonstration of what God is all about for us. So that to me is that's my beeline place. If you're brand new in your faith, Jesus, and along the same way, Romans.
For me, I enjoy Matthew because I still have that little New Testament purple Bible that you gave me way back in middle school. I still have it, and I started reading it in Matthew because it was the very beginning of the New Testament.
Sure.
So for me, that one's always been like my go-to.
Yeah.
Like I love going to the Beatitudes and all that good stuff.
That's
It's
cool.
a lot of meat.
I think when I read the Gospels recently all the way through, all 4 of them, just straight through Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. I think Luke brings the most to the table as far as the 4 that I've read.
Luke is like my favorite.
Luke is so good, but I think Mark is a good place to start. I think you should read it: Mark, Matthew, John, Luke.
Is that like the hammer version?
Yeah, it's the machete.
The machete version.
But because Mark, not that it doesn't bring a lot to the table as far as the story of Jesus, it just seems like a lot of Mark was already said in Matthew. And I think Matthew brings some other stuff that Mark didn't have. So it's kind of like you're stacking, and every level brings more to the story.
Adding layers
And
to the sandwich.
Exactly. And
Layers.
I think Luke brings the most. So I think you leave that one for last, but you read through the Gospels that way.
Gotcha. Interesting thoughts. Outside of the Bible, any books or references that you can say, hey, this would be a great thing to read to give you a clearer understanding of a relationship with God to a person who's a new believer?
The Bible app has a great reading plan.
Yeah.
And it's got attached devotionals, so you're not just reading the Bible, but also attached devotionals too. And it's called What Now? New Believer.
Yes.
Plan for teenagers.
Yes.
And it goes through prayer and what did I just say yes to, and how the Bible is all one story all together. And so it's 8 days, so it's not like it's a long, it's just each day for just over a week, and it just tackles basic tenets of accepting Jesus.
Crazy Love by Francis Chan is always good.
That's not for beginners. That's
not for
advanced.
beginners, though.
That's like,
but-
oh yeah, I just got saved. I'm terrible.
What's
Not for beginners, but it's a good.
Even
it's
for
a
like
good book.
seasoned Christians, it's like
Yeah, I started
can be
reading
tough.
it myself.
Be ready before you read that.
What's
book.
It's
what's that
intense.
book by Bob Goff?
Love
Love
does.
Does.
Love
Yeah, I
Does
wanna
is
read
one of
that
my
one.
favorite books about faith. I think that one is a nice setup. Because he does mention some of his stories of when he was newly saved and stuff.
There's a book, and it's a fictional book. It's Christian fiction, but it's really one of my favorites. It's called Joshua by Joseph Gerzon, and in it tells the story of you got a small town. I think it's in I don't know, Texas or Pennsylvania, it's not important, but a small little town, and all of a sudden there's this mysterious guy that moves to the outskirts of town, and everybody in the whole small community knows everybody else. They've grown up together, but this dude moves in, and everybody has all these questions about him. And as the story plays out, you begin to see that he's Jesus, and that's kind of the story of it. And it's a really beautiful book. One of my youth leaders when I was a teenager said, you should read this, you'll enjoy it. And I've read it. I've bought copies for other people. I just really enjoy this story because it's certainly not scriptural, canonical, but it's a really interesting window into the way that Jesus would live his life in our culture. And I think the book is from the 1980s, I think. I mean, it's definitely a dated book, but they made a movie about it a few
I was about
years
to
ago.
say, I was about to ask, did they make a movie? Because
Yeah,
I think
they
we
did.
saw it here.
And it was, I mean, it's a good, but it's a really cool story, and it's an interesting way to see Jesus in the frame of our own kind of modern world. Anything else?
I really like Praise Habit by David Crowder. It's just a book about praising the Lord, but also like taking it as like not making it like a habit, like a habitual thing, but also like how nuns will take like their habit and they wear it, and that's kind of what everybody sees about them is their habit, and making like your praise being what everybody sees about you. And David Crowder is a really funny and quirky guy, and he keeps that in his writing too. There's a lot of times I'm reading it and it's a book about praising God, and it's like, oh,
You laugh out
I'm
loud.
laughing out
Yeah.
loud while like he does this whole thing about like how one of the times he was riding a plane and saw the sun rise from like through the clouds on the plane window, because he never sits on the window seat, and so he starts like yelling at the readers like, why didn't any of you track me down somehow and tell me about this, because it is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And it's
love
very
riding
funny.
in the window seat in
Window
airplanes.
seats, what's
It's
up?
my
Me
favorite.
too.
Never done it? 'Cause I've
I
never rode an
I
airplane.
did that on my way back from Philadelphia. It was really nice.
That's what's
My
up.
niece threw a fit because we didn't have the window seat on the way back to Florida. And thankfully, the person sitting there let us switch seats.
One time I flew back
She
from
threw a
Arizona,
fit.
and it was in the middle of the night, and it was a storm. So I want you to imagine this. There in Arizona, you flying over the desert, and there's no towns out there at night.
So it's dark.
whatever you look down that you think you're going to see on the ground, you got nothing. And you're seeing, all you could see out the window in every direction was just lightning, and that was it. So it was just pitch black, and then lightning. It was beautiful and horrifying. Horrible. It was horrible. I made up a word for it.
That's
It was beautiful,
horrible.
beautiful and horrifying.
Man, that's just horrible.
From Brent, what criteria, and he gave kind of a long preamble to this question, but I'm going to skip straight to the question. What criteria do you use when determining whether or not something in the nerd world is good for a Christian to consume or isn't good for a Christian to consume? What criteria do you use when determining, yeah, I can watch that, or I can play that, or no, I can't?
A good thing to keep in mind, and this doesn't even necessarily have to be for just nerd criteria, just for life and things in general, like movies you watch or where you spend your time. It's like if my pastor was over my shoulder, if someone whose spiritual opinion and influence in your life is important, imagine if they saw you doing this or playing this game or going to this place or whatever, how would they feel about it? It's always a really good one to kind of keep in mind.
That's kind of how I view it sometimes too, or even so much like how would I feel if like a student in our youth group was
that's a good
doing
one.
or watching or playing this, like would I try to not talk them out of it, but would I try to encourage them to not do something like that? And if it's something that I would talk to them about in that way, then it's something that I shouldn't be doing either.
There's that double standard of, I know what I'm doing, or I can filter this and it's fine. But I think that if we live by the standard that we expect, this could go for anything. If we drove the way that we want other people to drive, or if we treated people the way, that's what Jesus said, right? Do unto others. And so I think that if you put it in that frame of, okay, if someone I'm leading shouldn't do this, then I probably shouldn't do it either.
That's why you have your own standards about it.
Right. But the standards that we find to be malleable should not be. We should say, okay, well, what is okay? Is profanity okay at all? Is nudity okay at all? Is violence, or I was talking to someone about Wonder Woman, which is coming out this weekend, and which has got a ridiculously high Rotten Tomatoes
like
rating,
95%.
right? And I said, well, what is it rated? So it's PG-13. So we had to look up, why is it PG-13? Because there's moments when you go see some of these movies. I didn't want to take. If I would have known when we saw the first Guardians of the Galaxy, like just random profanity, just out of the middle of nowhere, or when the Netflix shows come on, and I go, okay, yeah, these are really cool. I want to watch these, and then I can't say, yeah, dude, you should watch this show because I know that in episode 2 there's going to be like a mommy daddy scene that's going to. Okay, that's not savory for everyone. So it's fine. I can ignore it, but I wouldn't want somebody else to watch it. Well, maybe we should hold ourselves up to the standard that we expect other people to live up to as well.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, this particular topic is real deep because I didn't want to interject earlier because you guys were talking. I didn't want to talk over you, but when you were talking about is it malleable for me, I just thought to myself, imagine a whole church filled with people like that, how they're holding themselves accountable is by their own, like what they feel is acceptable for them, as opposed to, okay, well, what does the Word of God say that we're all supposed to live by? So I guess I just kind of thought about that. I mean, I think to myself about that, like have I particularly watched something or read something that I was like, well, I can close my eyes, during this particular scene, or I'm going to close my ears, or somebody told me that this particular moment's going to happen in this movie. I'm going to close my eyes during this, and it just gets deep. But I think that in itself is another conversation to have.
And we need to be aware just of even the seeds that are planted in our hearts and in our minds, because you might see something and it's nothing, but all that information is filed away, and it ultimately really does desensitize us to the bigger picture. That's why I get concerned, and I immediately become a hypocrite anytime I call one particular thing out. But that's why I get concerned about things that are overly dependent upon the use of magic, sorcery, and wizardry. Because not that I think that, I'll just say by name, something like Harry Potter is necessarily satanic, but the over purveyance of that as a normal, natural, healthy, enjoyable, family-friendly thing does desensitize us to the fact that there really are spiritual things and that there is a wicked anti-God application for that in real life. But little kids see it and they want to emulate it, and they want to put on their robes and go to Hogwarts at Universal and make play of it. So, like, for me, I don't think that Stephen's relationship with Christ is in jeopardy if he watches that movie. But if he were to, just for example, put a Harry Potter sticker on the back of his car, and then it gives other people the permission to follow him. And as John Maxwell says, it's the law of the lid, to follow him and fall below where his own standard is of what's acceptable. So, you got to be careful of things that you accidentally endorse as well. All right, next question. Can Tori please come back at least? No, okay.
Yes.
What would you ask God? This question is from Paulo. What question would you ask God if you knew for sure that you would receive an audible reply?
What do you want me to do with my life?
Just tell me everything.
Should I do this?
What question would you say should I do?
Should I pursue film? That's what my question would be.
And what if he says no and you've wasted your one question?
Well, then I would know not to pursue it. I would know to use my talents elsewhere.
Are you pursuing it?
Not actively. I want to pursue it.
Then how could you know if? Well,
no, that's a valid question. How do you know? Like,
how would you know if? Yeah, how would? I know this sounds cheesy, but how do you know if you don't try?
No, I totally get your question.
Yeah.
And really, it's just if I'm just gonna be honest, it's my dislike of change. And a lack of motivation on my end.
No.
What's a question you would ask God if you knew he was going to straight up answer you in person, in voice?
I guess if I were to ask him now, I would say, well, what was the exact reason that I went through X in my life? Just I've had a lot of weird things. My parents got divorced, just things of that nature. But if I could ask him collectively, like, okay, 32 years old, collectively, I've been through a lot. What was the meaning of that? Like, if I could figure out a way to collectively ask him, all of the happenstances, the negative happenstances that have gone in my life, like the reasoning behind that. That's what I would ask.
Cool.
What's the one thing about me that I need to change or let go of to be more like you?
Wow.
That's a really good one.
What's the one thing like about me that needs to change that I need to let go of to be more like you? Wow.
That's a good one.
Neff? You're messing us up, Paulo.
Like deep thought
You're
questions.
messing us up, baby.
Because like, there's so many good ones to like think to ask.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to waste my one question.
How you doing, guy?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up?
Everybody asks you questions about themselves.
How are you?
How are you?
Really?
Been better. No.
I'm the best.
But I've also been worse.
Is that theological? Does that sound? Okay.
Certainly didn't like the Israelites for a while there. So
Still not over that golden cow thing.
I got beef.
What did Jesus write in the sand?
Really hard to get
Dying to
over. And believe me, I've tried. Jackie, what would you ask God?
I don't know, because like my first thought kind of goes to I feel called to music education. That is what I've been wanting to do since I was in middle school. And I mean, I still feel that call in my life. I know God's going to work in me through that and things are going to happen with it. So part of me is like, well, do I want to ask when it's going to happen? Because I know it's going to happen because that's God's promise to me is I'm going to do this. So like, I don't know, like, am I in the right direction right now? Do I need to do more in one area, less in another? What's what do I need to do? Because I've felt stagnant for a little while, and recently got a little boost, as a kind of like pushing me a little bit more towards what I want to do. It's still like up in the air if what's gonna happen is gonna happen because I don't want to give out too much details, but I'm on like a little confident streak right now with what I'm going for, and I just want to make sure, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I trying to take on too much? Because I have a bad habit of doing that.
You do indeed.
Oh, I know my question.
You already had it, Neff.
Oh.
Go ahead, buddy.
Well, it'd pretty much be like, I guess it'd be like a now question. Cause I mean, I couldn't ask him anything later, but I think it'd be important right now, especially since we're talking about like our future plans and how he wants us to get to those points.
Sure.
Which college he wants me to go to? Because and how like what
and how am I
going to
pay for it?
Well, because
University of Kentucky.
No, because I know I'm called to do music ministry, and it's just like this big whole thing where I prayed a lot about it, because there's being a worship pastor, which I know is my calling, and there's also my other music, like my hip hop music and stuff like that I work on, that I've gotten a really good positive response with.
Sure.
But I don't want, if I'm supposed to be doing God's work with the worship pastor thing, I don't want my other music to interfere with that, because that's important stuff. That's kingdom work, you know. I don't want the one thing that God has blessed me with as far as talents go to interfere the other thing that God has blessed me with.
Let me ask you this, and this is along the same lines of what I said to Stephen. What have you done to pursue being a worship pastor? If you say with such confidence that you know that is your calling, what have you done to pursue it?
That's one of those things. Like,
follow-up question: what is hindering you from pursuing it?
Just myself at this point. Because
the rat who never steps into the maze never runs into any dead ends, but also never gets the cheese. And I think that, like, that's the thing, is like so many people say, I feel like God's called me this, and first off, I hate the word feel like so much, because dude, I want to walk by faith, not by feel like, you know. And so but if God has called you to do these things, and you have, and first off, sometimes a calling is nothing more than just a passion. Sometimes God's calling is just like David was David called to be a worshiper or a shepherd? No, but it was his passion and it was his job. His passion was to worship God. His job, because he was the youngest brother, was to go watch the animals. But God used that in him to make him into a great leader and a great king and a great psalm writer. And we see the blessings because of that, because David followed his passion, and he was faithful where he was planted. He was faithful where he was. So where are you, and what are you doing now? And I'm not knocking you for this, because as I look around this table, everybody that's around this table is doing something right now where they're planted. And then you have your passion, which is your music. So what are you doing to sow into that? Because you can't grow it if you don't sow it. So follow that. So and the reason I'm thinking is because you guys are wasting wishes here. You're wasting your things saying, God, answer this question. When a lot of these things, God might say, okay, I can answer that for you, but it's already in my word.
Yeah.
Or I've already given you the answer if you would just stop and listen to the passion and the heartbeat that I've put it within you already. And to that, I just say, there's also the ability to look beyond what you feel your calling is to find your identity. Because even if you are a worship leader or if you are a worship pastor, that is not who you are. Ultimately, you are a minister, and music is a tool that you use to minister. If you're a farmer, if you're using a trowel, if you're using a rake, if you're using a hoe, if you're using whatever the tools might be for the trade, the process is what comes up out of the ground, not what you use to put it in. So if your process is to sing and to lead people in that area, what's the fruit that's coming out of that? Ultimately, ministry. Ultimately, bringing people to a closer relationship with Christ. So what are you doing to invest in that? EJ, you look like you're chomping.
Yeah. Just because, it's pretty much along the same lines of what you're saying, because I wanted to read Colossians 3:23. I'm going to do it from the New Living Translation, or I'll do it from, the NIV. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. And what I think about this is that if Jesus is Lord of Lords and King of Kings, think about it like this. If you're working with all of your heart for the Lord, think of, okay, you're working for a principal, you're working for a senior pastor, you're working for the President of the United States. Jesus is supreme over all of that. Mm-hmm. So if he's calling us to work for him, mm-hmm. like, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Yes. Like, and this is piggybacking off of what Tony's talking about, and I'm talking to myself as well. This is I'm looking in the mirror, man in the mirror, Michael Jackson moment. Am I doing what I'm doing in excellence? We could sit here and say, I want to be an artist. I want to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That's my thing, guys. I'll put myself on the table. My thing is I want to go to San Diego Comic-Con. What is EJ Nieves doing to get there? Okay, I want to be in film. I want to be a worship pastor. Right now in what we're doing, whether
we want to be a podcast with more than 18 reviews on iTunes.
Like, what individually, collectively, what are we doing to show God that we're working for him and only him in excellence? So it's almost like we all have to review tape and say, well, that and not that watching Netflix and playing video games and hanging out and spending time with friends is that's not bad. There's rest in that. But if we're doing that a majority of the time, there's no excellence in that. There's no excellence in mediocrity. So I don't know. It just kept on. Tony was talking, and the whole time, like, we have to work in excellence. We're working for the Lord here. Like, and even if we're in school, there's so much you can be doing. You could be with your phone, just anybody, not just Steven, myself, anybody that wants to be in film. If you have a smartphone, you can make videos. I think about Neff is in a great position, under Tony's leadership. Like, Tony does worship, like it's just, you can do what you want to do for the Lord now in this season. I think a lot of people want that piece of paper. I'm thinking about Jackie with music education. You could do that now. You could do that right now, with children at our church, like we could be in excellence. Not that I'm not saying that nobody is not doing things in excellence, but we can pursue what we want now. Once again, I'm 32. If there's one thing I'm an advocate about is, I wish I had the mindset of trying and failing like I do now in my 30s. I wish I had that in my 20s. And I look at, a lot of my peers here at church and even in this podcast, cast, that you guys are in your 20s. And it's like, go get it, like go get it and go do it. But I don't want to keep going, but yeah.
No, that's true. And that's good.
What I was going to say to kind of tag on with what EJ said is basically if we're not doing any kind of effort, like if we're just kind of sitting there and waiting for God to talk, like you got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to actually like get up and do something about it.
Sure.
Here
am I, Lord, send me.
And that was something that I kind of struggled with a little bit because I was in school for music. I was starting to play again and do all that good stuff, and it's just like I felt like I was like, well, I need to do more, and I keep talking about wanting to do this thing, but I haven't done it yet. So I finally like went down to my old high school and talked to my old band director about, hey, I want to be on the staff for the marching band this season. I want to help. I want to learn how you run the program. I want to learn how to do this. And he hasn't given me an answer yet, so it's probably going to be a no, but I'm still going to show up anyway. Praise God.
Jackie will get a restraining order, but man, she's following her dreams.
I am an OCPS volunteer, so sucker.
Today's the last day of school, so I was talking to some of our students. We just had our youth service tonight, and I was talking with a girl in our cafe after church, and we were just talking about summer plans and the different things that go on, and she's going into 11th grade, and I said 11th grade was a big turning point for me because 11th grade was the year I was probably the most social at school, but it brought me to the point where at the end of it, I said, I'm really done with this, because as much as I'm enjoying myself and as much as I'm active, I'm moving, I'm doing things, I realized I was doing things in the direction opposite than what God had for me, or opposite than I was doing things that were fun, but I wasn't fueling my passion. And at the end of 11th grade, I basically quit all of the things that I did at school and started coming to church every single day. Because I knew where I was driven to be. So I put the time in. I did my, what do you call it, your 10,000 hours or whatever. Every single day after school, when I had a job, I worked at Subway in my senior year, and dude, I never showed up to that job. Like, dude, Subway straight up hated me. Because I used to be like, they'd be fine, like, they'd page me, because it was the 90s. And I'd call them back, they're like, you were scheduled to be here at 4:30. I'm like, I'd be like calling them back from the phone at church, like, yeah, I'm not coming in today. Sorry. Yeah, dude. And ultimately, I even quit that. My parents, you need to have a job. So I got a job here at church, like like watching kids after school for. Dude, I watched them for like 3 hours a day, 1 day a week. I only got paid to be here 1 day a week. Wednesdays for 3 hours from 3 to 6, and I think I made $15 a week. And the rest of the days, I was still here at church. I was still learning. I stayed with my youth pastor. I watched everything he did. I tried everything he did. Shout out to Chip Bennett. He gave me the opportunity to try and to fail and to get up and try again. But I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I did it. And I didn't let anybody stop me. I tried when I got out of high school, and my parents told me that, well, you should go get this job over here and go make actual money, and you can do that in your spare time. I said, no. I've got to follow the call of God in my life. I've got to follow this thing that the thing that I'm more passionate about than anything else. And dude, I worked for years. I had made no money, dude. I was butt poor, but I was learning and growing, and I had great leadership in my life. And 22 years later, it's kind of working out a little bit. I'm still in the same church that I started in when I was a high schooler. I'm still, I can pay my bills now. I get paid more than $15 a week. But you've got to see your thing, and you got to walk it out. You got to see it. You got to walk it out. If you don't start, you don't finish.
I mean, and you can see the fruits coming from you, Tony. Like, I mean, just looking at the students and the leadership team that you have, because a lot of them were directly influenced by you as their youth pastor. I mean, I'm super thankful for you being being here at this church because you've been an instrumental part in my walk with God and me coming to Christ.
Well, thank you.
So
tonight I wasn't even able to be in the youth service. I had a meeting that I was unable to avoid, it was a good meeting. It was positive, but I got up there and I did my 11-minute sermon, and I scooted out of the room, and it was, and I turned it over to my leaders, and I knew my leaders could do it. And most of them are kids that came up in the youth group that are now in their 20s, and they're working hard and they're getting it. And they went over to the other side. And I know maybe some of them, get a little easily distracted and like having conversations with each other instead of ministering to actual teenagers. But for the most part, everybody got in there, everybody served, everybody did their thing, and I was super proud of that. And I guess that's the result of your hard work, is that when you begin following that path, and when you begin answering that question, you begin to not only move forward, but you empower other people to answer that question in their lives as well. Man, Paulo, you just took over our stinking show, man.
thanks for the question, though.
Thanks, Paulo.
I'll see
Thanks,
you
Paulo.
Monday.
But that's the real bottom line here, is that God loves questions. In the Hebrew tradition, that's actually one of the ways that the rabbis used to teach.
Yes.
They would
asking
ask questions, and as they would ask questions, the students that would answer, that was a learning method.
That's why when Jesus, when he was like 12 and got left, when they were doing the census, right? Census?
No, that was when he was born.
No, okay, then was it taxes? They were paying their taxes.
When they were going to Jerusalem for Passover, right?
Oh.
They were at the temple when they stopped at the temple, and Jesus was a lad, and then
and
they lost him.
They left Jesus at the
him.
temple. It's like halfway home, like, oh crap, we left Jesus.
We left the Son of God.
And they go back.
Turn around.
And the Bible's like, and the rabbis were amazed.
They were
at how he was
astonished.
teaching with his questions.
Well, they were astonished at the questions he was asking, but in their culture, that meant that he was, in a manner of speaking, teaching the teachers, which is kind of cool. And I love it when God asks questions. I love it when God brings it. One of my favorite things is in the book of Job, when tonight's whole thing, 42 is the ultimate, the answer to the ultimate question. In Job, at the end of the book, when Job this whole time has been suffering, and he finally is like, God, what's the deal? And God's like, let me ask you some questions, big
Were you
friend.
there?
Let me ask you. Put on your big boy pants. Let me pull up a stool. Let me ask you something. And God comes at him. He's like, where were you? Do you know? How could you? You don't even know. And that's an amazing thing. The first question that God ever asked in the Bible. Anybody know what it is? First question that God ever asked.
Why are you hiding?
Close.
Yeah.
Very close.
Where are you?
Where are you?
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Where are you?
Adam and Eve just sinned, and they basically in their fear, in their confusion, their guilt, they ran away from God. In Genesis chapter 3. So the Lord shows up and he calls out to Adam. The Lord shows up because he wasn't there before, right? He was just like, then the Lord arrived, and the Lord called to Adam and he said, where art thou? Where are you? The questions that God asks are so revealing about the way that he expects us to answer and the way that he expects us. One of the most powerful questions in the Bible is when Jesus is with the disciples and he said, who do people say that I am? And they start answering, and they're like, they say that you're John the Baptist, hey,
You're Elijah.
You're Elijah, right? And Jesus stops and he says, who do you say that I am? What a powerful question. What a powerful question. And that's the question, of all the questions we've answered tonight, that's the one question that each of us have to answer is, where, it starts with, where are you? Where are you in relationship to God? Is your relationship where it needs to be? Is your love for Jesus greater than it's ever been before? Is your connection with God one that is open and honest and direct, or are you hiding from him, trying to cover yourself with the closest thing you can find because of guilt or because of shame or because of fear? When Christ looks at you and says, who do you say that I am? Do you say that he's a good man? Do you say that he's a madman? Do you say that he's your Lord? These are the questions that we all have to answer. And one of the most important questions that you're going to find in the Bible comes from Hebrews chapter 2. It says this: how shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation? And that's not a question that I can answer. It's not even a question that the angels, or God himself can answer. How can we justify the decision to reject the gift of salvation that God provides for us? You know, God has given every single thing for us. He gave his own son's life. He paid the highest price. How can we reject that? The decision must be made, and it has to be made by each one, every one of us. The question has to be answered: who is Christ to you? And if we call on the name of the Lord, we will be saved. If you believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord, you confess with your mouth that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Saved from what? Saved from an eternity separated from God. Saved from the crushing weight of the guilt of your sins. And God desires for us to have freedom, not just so that we can go to heaven one day, but so that we can be heaven in this world right now, so that we can bring the answer and be the answer to the people in this world that are filled with questions, to the people that have nothing but doubt and fear and anxiety over their eternity. And that's something that I'm proud to be able to say that everyone around this table has answered that question for themselves. I wish I could answer it for you. I wish I could just check off the box and say, yes, you who's listening right now, you believe in Jesus. Yes, you trust in God. Yes, you called on the name of the Lord, but I can't. It's something that each and every one of us have the responsibility to do. We're accountable to do, myself included. I asked the Lord into my heart. I had to do it. My parents' religion was not good, thank goodness, because my parents' religion was sorely lacking. My grandma went to church. That wasn't enough to save me. You know, charitable giving is not enough to save you. Church attendance is not enough to save you. My youth pastor used to say, just because you go to McDonald's don't make you a hamburger. Just because you go to church doesn't make you a Christian. It all comes from answering that question sincerely and honestly. Who do you say that he is? He is Lord. And he is the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. He is the author and the finisher of our faith. He is the bright and morning star. He is our hope. He is our peace. He is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through him. Jesus Christ is the very image of God in this world. And he is our Savior. So answer that question. Answer it thusly in your heart. And if you ask him for forgiveness, he will be faithful to forgive us of all of our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And that is the answer that actually makes a difference, more than what your favorite ice cream flavor or, you know, who's your favorite Globetrotter.
Special K.
Mint chocolate chip.
Is Special K a Globetrotter?
Yeah.
That's his favorite ice cream flavor.
Oh,
Mint chocolate chip is Jackie's favorite Globetrotter.
Yeah.
I'm confused. But
Sports.
Mint chocolate chip. That's a blooper.
So answer the questions, and we don't have. I guess we still have some more that we didn't get to get to, but thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions and wrote them in, filled out our form. Thank you to everybody who voted on our best thing ever this week. Don't forget, we need a couple best thing ever ambassadors for next time. So send in your videos. You can email them to nerdofgodcast@gmail.com or connect with us through any of our social media platforms, and you could end up on the show for next time. If you haven't followed us yet, like, share, subscribe across all the social media platforms. We've got some new merchandise on our Nerd of Godcast store, some new Nerd of God swag. We did debut it last time at our Night of the Guardians event, which was great fun.
Yes, it was.
I wouldn't know.
Merch was flying off the table too. It was cool.
We had a great time, dude. It was so funny because the Pastor Lloyd, who was gracious enough to invite us to this awesome youth rally, had a couple different youth groups that were represented there. We did a fun Q&A session at the end of the night. It was
some really good questions.
It was really, really great. We had an awesome time with the students there at Epic and the other guests that were in the house. But afterwards, Pastor Lloyd told me that I guess the next week was their rep week, where all the kids in the church are supposed to wear their youth group t-shirts to school and then come to church that night, kind of represent their youth group. And he said, well, I guess he got up in the pulpit that Wednesday. He said, well, I guess we're going to have to change the name of our youth group to Nerd of God, because he said the whole youth group were all wearing our t-shirts.
That's great.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
So big shout out
Thank you guys.
to
We do have those new cool.
our friends at Palmetto. Yeah, I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like a
super
vintagey
dope.
style.
Vintage style, the original cooperative of Christ culture and nerd culture, the Nerd of Godcast radio program
With
and
an E.
internet-based sundries. This design is available on our website. You can click on store at nerdofgodcast.com. We've got it available as a t-shirt or as a stylish button. We have a variety of
really
different
nice.
buttons that you can purchase
Buttons
now.
are
They're-
big too.
they-
I saw.
Yeah, they look
somebody
real
holding
good.
one.
In fact, we sent some out to our Patreon supporters. I'll show you this picture. Pastor Bishop, state youth director, Bishop of the state of Indiana, Josh Martin, who is J-Mart, who is one of our supporters, sent me this picture of him. He said, "Thanks for my gift. I wore it to the office and hospital visits today."
Aww.
So that's him representing
Oh, nice.
Nerdy
Thank
Godcast.
you.
Good job,
J-Mart.
That's
Thank
a
you.
good button.
You the man,
Shout out to
J-Mart.
J-Mart.
You are the man. So we not only have t-shirts, we have buttons, and we also have these cool vinyl stickers. They're really, really great on a car window or on a laptop or on your cat, whatever you have. I don't care what you do with them, but they're a lot of fun. We got a great variety of things. They're not only Nerdy Godcast branded things, but they're also really cool ways to share your testimony. Some of them are kind of crossover designs between nerd culture and Christ culture. So you got the Iron Man full armor of God. You got a Walking Dead inspired one, Transformers, things like that. So go over, get your sticker. If you bundle them up, we'll ship them out to you as soon as we can, real quick. I think it only takes like 2 days. You get them, and we're really glad to have people all across the country representing the Nerd of Godcast and showing your nerdy colors. So, any other ideas, comments, or questions?
Nah.
Everybody's feeling good. Everybody's looking good. Everybody's tired and ready to go home. So,
Yes.
without any further ado, we will say thank you, God bless you, Auf Wiedersehen, and good night from the Nerd of Godcast. Steve-O Supremo,
Sayonara.
the lovely twins Jackie and Jess,
Bye.
the big man Quentin Neff,
Auf Wiedersehen.
EJ the official Ness,
Peace.
and Nick the producer.
Goodbye.
My name is Tony T. Until next time, we ain't got to go home,
But we can't stay
here. And that's,
Peace.
can we? Is that the real question?
No.
Can
Why?
we stay here?
Nope.
You can do anything you want, Tony.
Where's the cream? Berries and cream. Berries and cream. Berries and cream. Berries and cream.
That's a little too well.
All
This
right.
is why we can't have short episodes,
I
guys.
I feel extra tonight.